Yes, guys, good evening. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur for your third show of the day, and we are on fire. Your boy Big Dave is back, re-energized, refocused, and on absolute fire. Twitter reacts this morning. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. Also, we had, what did I put out? The loan report on the players. Let me know if you've checked that out. I've got some comments I need to respond to after I finish here. But let me know if you want to see more of that. Ashley Phillips shining on his debut. But make sure you do check that out. And, of course, tonight's fan show where it's your turn to come on and have your say on all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, before we get into it, let's welcome some people in. And then let's crack on with some of the news. And then we've got a lot of the guests already in the back end to get to and have a good chat to. Daniel Azito says, good evening, Jack and Dave. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you, Daniel Azito. Ash P says, hi, Jack and Dave. Finally caught y'all in real time. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, I'll be back doing a lot more live shows now as well. Thank God. You know, I do miss doing the live shows. They keep giving me something to do, I suppose. Alpesh Patel says, evening, here we go. A point at old leak for the roof. I'll take that in our position. Absolutely love that. Yeah, you know, I believe the Spurs fans got a collection together to sort of they passed around. You know, them money note. What are they called? Money box, that's it. Money boxes, passed one of them around basically to get donations, and they left it there with one of the security guards to hand in to help donate towards that roof. It's sad time when we're taking pity on them. But what I will say, Alpesh, it was our B team as well, you know, more or less. Very, very weak in Tottenham side, and we still went up there and got a result. And after Mr. Ange Postecoglou, who told us to believe in winning the title, he also sort of alluded to that there were, you know, Skip, who grew into the game, you know, started getting involved towards the end of the first half, grew into the second half. He had an illness bug. Same with Destiny Udogie, who was absolutely immense. So it's absolutely brilliant to get that point from Old Trafford. I'm going to get on to more in that in a minute, though. But big up Alpesh Patel. Good to see you in the building. Donovan Oosterreicher from the Canadian side of the frozen pond. Big up, everyone. Come on, you flat cap army. And guys, he looks he did look absolutely frozen where he was out waiting for the bus. Do you know what? I watch a lot of sort of various programs, and like, what's it called, The Amazing Race, and you know, the Canadian one, American one, Australian one, and stuff like that. Canada looks like an absolute amazing country. And also, what was it on BBC? Race Across the World. An amazing country. Would love to go and see it. Big up, Donovan. Very vast land as well, I believe. Derek Hutchinson, good evening, Dave and Jack. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you in. Derek, my man, good to see you in. Mark Cook says, big up, Super Jack, and big up, Dave. Good to see you in as well, Marky Cook. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Regular Gamer says, greetings. No, greetings to you, sir. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, whatever it may be for you. Kim A.D. Helgeson says, come on, you Spurs. Love every show. Thank you so much, Kim. Really do appreciate that. You know, look, I'll be honest, I was slacking there for a while, but I'm back, re-energized, refocused, and I've got a lot more structure and everything else. So hopefully I can keep up with the demands that you guys place on me. Malware13 says, good evening, boys. Good to be a Spurs fan nowadays. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely delighted to be a Spurs fan. You wear that cockle with pride on your chest, my man. Look, I'm one of them losers. I do, even when we're losing and stuff. But, you know, you'll see a lot more cockerels around the place now, you know, it's when we're doing well. Paddy Harnett, good to see you in the building. Dave, tell Jack he butchered Stephen McGrath in the Twitter Reacts video, but he's from Tip, so it's okay. Look, do you know what? First of all, let's, what would you say? Let's just deal with the obvious. No Jack tonight. The reason why we don't have Jack all here tonight is because it's a national holiday in America. I believe Martin Luther King evening or day, I think it is. And he's going off to spend a bit of time with one of his friends. So hopefully he has a good evening, a great evening, by the way, good time off. And hopefully we can have some good conversations as well within Jacko's absence, because I know a lot of you love coming on here and speaking to Jack, so you have to deal with me today. I'm actually in a good mood today, not one of my grumpy moods. But big up Paddy Harnett. Yeah, Stephen McGrath. Yeah, I'll have a word with him. I'll say it to him. You know, if he wants to be a quarter Irish, we'll have to get him spot on with them pronunciations. Brad Matthew says, good evening all. Big up, Brad. Good to see you. And he will be on to have a chat with us along with the Dermatron as well. Good to see you, Tron. Great to see you. Mia was also there. Yep, Mia's there as well. Big up, Mia. She's also first on tonight. to have her say as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Then we have Malware 13, Adoji's child, kind of looks like the villain from 007. Names Jaws, I believe. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen it, to be honest with you, Malware. If you're on Twitter, whatever, tag me in it. Let me see it. Alpesh Patel says, Dave, I think the Ange pass and move still needs to be instilled in some of our players. Midfield upwards and faster playing of the ball. We were slow due to circumstances. Do you know what, Alpesh Patel? I'd actually say I think Postecoglou, like we all know the players that we're on about, right? The sort of players that when they step in, there's a downgrade. I'd actually argue he's got them playing to his system and to the best of their ability. I think we just have to accept facts that, look, they're just not good enough, and will they make that level? You know, we're on the cusp of, we'll probably get top 4 this year, I'm hoping. Some, like Dermot, when he's on, will tell us we're in a title race. But depending where you are at with it, next season, we're going to need a proper colour to squad. We're just going to have to be ruthless. If you're not cutting the mustard, you're gone. And fill that squad right out and really go for it on all fronts under Ange Postecoglou next year. And I think sometimes we just have to face the fact, look, even though we might like a player, but, you know, whatever, you know, if they're just not good enough, they're not good enough for where we need to go, Alpesh. Big up, Tal Hamid. Good to see you. Haven't seen you or spoke to you in a while. Hopefully you're keeping well, along with Jazzy Fusion, Ian and all. What to talk about for 2 weeks. Don't worry. There'll be absolutely plenty. By the way, tomorrow I'm also putting out another bit of new content, which is going to be delivered to you 10:30 every Tuesday morning. Basically, where I'll just give you an update basically about the under-21s and the under-18s, what's going in and around the academy, the news, little bits of updates like that, quick content, 10-15 minutes for you guys. Just a weekly update to let you know how they're getting on at all sort of age groups. So hopefully you enjoy that. Malware says, I'm talking about Garnacho, Dave. That's it. Oh, look, I said it in the predicted lineup, my man. Adoji has all the traits of a defender that Garnacho will absolutely hate, and he pocketed him, and I absolutely love it. He started lashing out then. He did, didn't he, Garnacho? Shawnee Maddox still needs some guys back, but other than that, a shaky midfield. We looked okay. Yeah, look, I would say, I would actually argue, Shawnee boy, that if we had maybe just one player, a Kulu or a Son or a Madison, even a Papa Massar or Basuma, you probably just have that extra bit to get yourself over the line. You probably come away with all 3 points. But look, how many times have we said that so far this season? We just need to get players back badly. And then also big up Kamikaze. Morning, lads. Good to see you in the building. Now, look, guys, for me, yesterday's result, just quickly. I mean, look, with all the circumstances surrounding it, I'm absolutely delighted to get away with it, or to get out of there with a point, especially the fact that we went behind so early on. You're sort of thinking there, oh, crikey me, same old Tottenham, it's going to be a long evening. But we fought back. Then we conceded again. You're thinking the same thing again. Oh, Lord, here we go. And then we fought back. And then the second half was a bit sort of back and forth, chances to both sides. So I was sort of happy to get out there with a result. However, I still feel sort of disappointed, or maybe a little bit agitated, that maybe we didn't get the 3 points. Because I felt even if just 1 or 2 more players on the day showed that little bit more quality, we probably would have took all 3 points, because United aren't any great shape whatsoever. But look, so please let me know in the comments, guys, you know, what's your thoughts on sort of yesterday? How are you feeling today after that result, after all the calmness of the madness? Also, let me know in the comment section. We'll also be asking people when they come on, well, what do you make of Van de Ven and Romero's comeback performance against Man United? Look, for me, just briefly, I sort of think that it took them a while to grow into the game, and you can see that with the 2 goals we conceded. If they were at the levels they were at in the first 10 games where they had that run together, we just would not have conceded them goals. A couple of bits of brilliance from United, a couple of lucky bounces involved in that as well. However, I do think as the game got on, Van de Ven and Romero sort of grew into it, but there was that sort of awkward period. And let's be honest, Man United capitalized on it, didn't they? You know, they went at us very, very quickly, didn't give Romero or Van de Ven a chance to really settle into the game, and they end up getting their reward for it. So, you know, it took them a while to grow in, but I am delighted to see them back, though, I have to say. Also, guys, I want to know, what do you make of Johnny Evans' elbow on Højbjerg? It was a blatant elbow, and then tries to swivel like he didn't mean it. Just saying, if Romero done that, he'd be red carded, and Gary Neville be all over Sky Sports. Ooh, that's cynical and all this sort of bajago that he likes to come out with. He'd be absolutely all over it. But I want, no peep about it today in the media. Nothing different. That was Romero. It'll be all over the headlines. So please let me know what you make of that situation there, because that really could have changed the tide of the game. Also, Richarlison, my boy, too hot to handle right now. Scotty, too hotty. Look, he's absolutely on fire. What's that? 7 goals and 3 assists to his name so far this season in the Premier League. And I would ask, like, sort of, because I do feel, right, he's got an amazing attitude. Despite all the talk around him, despite the failings of him last season, coming into the early parts of this season, he never once complains about it, just gets out there and does his job. And I will give him credit. Since he's come back from that surgery, he's been a complete different player. And yesterday, I would say, was his all-round best performance in a Tottenham jersey, where all aspects of his game, not just goal scoring, but in terms of hold-up play, making a nuisance of himself, pressing, defending, running the channels, bringing others into play, winning throw-ins, corners. I'd say all around it was his best performance yesterday. But he still gets a lot of grief. So I want to know from everybody out there, how many goals or how many goal contributions does Richarlison need to finish out the season with, that people would give him an opportunity next season? Or it doesn't matter, you still want someone in here. Let me know your thoughts on that. How are we still finding results when we're missing so many key players? What do you put that down to? This year, we're a team that are fighting for each other regardless of the situation. Last year, we weren't like that. What do you put that down to? Brennan Johnson, another one who's dividing a lot of opinion in the fan base right now. Look, I think one thing, whether your criticism of the Johnson or defending Johnson, he's going to get time. He's going to be here the rest of this season, all the way through next season as well, after landing 50 million quid on the guy. But his lack of end product is concerning. What do you do with the guy? Where are you at with Brennan Johnson? Maybe areas of his game that you need to improve. Because I'll be honest, I think Dermot and other Irish people probably know what I mean when I say this. Any Wigan fans out there, maybe potentially as well. He's nearly as bad as James McLean crossing the ball. James McLean crosses the ball, it ends up over the other side of the pitch. It's a bit like Brennan Johnson. That can't continue. Also, Postecoglou, he's sort of told these players that they'll be given a period of longer rest during the next 12 days, where we have no fixture to recover their bodies. After some work early this week, they'll be given Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off before returning to prepare for the FA Cup clash against Man City. What's your thoughts on that? A lot of other teams have used this period to go and do a bit of warm weather training abroad. What do you think of Postecoglou's decision not to bring them abroad, but also to give them days off at home? Also, Pedro Porro has provided more assists in the 23-24 season than any other Tottenham defender has ever managed in a single Premier League campaign, which is absolutely unbelievable. Really goes to show the contribution he is having at Tottenham so far this season. It's absolutely unbelievable. Look, I went early on it a few weeks ago, but in fairness, Pedro Porro was always a guy I always said to people, give a bit of time to. He'll find his way, he'll sort it out, and he'll come good. But there's a lot of comparisons out there now to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I feel like if Pedro's name was Peter, for instance, he'd get a lot more plaudits. But because his name is Pedro, he doesn't seem to get the plaudits that he deserves. So let me know what your thoughts are on that as well. Pedro, Peter, I cracked myself up with that one. Just a quick bit of transfer news. I'll probably go more into it tomorrow. A bit more news actually. Timo Werner and Radu Dragusin given their legacy numbers today as well from Spurs after making their debuts. Sergio Reguilon potentially heading to Brentford to cover their injury to Rico Henry in their relegation scrap for the rest of this season. That looks like that's lining up. Tottenham pulling out of Calvin Phillips. They don't really want to pursue him. Showing an interest in the Norwich winger, Jonathan Rowe. If there's anyone out there that knows a bit about him, let me know and come on and tell us a bit about him. And also saying that Tottenham will continue to explore opportunities for young stars on the rise with potential loan back deals. And one player that was actually at the Spurs Academy last week on trial was Rooney Bagaji, if that's what you want to call him. But he's a guy I've highlighted to Jack behind the scenes for quite a while now. Swedish international at Copenhagen. Very, very highly rated. Played, I think he scored against Man United in the recent Champions League as well. But he was on trial at Tottenham, and basically what he had to say was it was a really good experience seeing the level and how football is outside Sweden. being being at a big club like Tottenham and seeing how they work. So it'll be interesting to see whether Tottenham, the people in around Tottenham, were impressed with that loan or with that trial spell, how it went, and is it with a view to a potential move. But if it isn't, it's clever by Spurs to bring them in here and get a real good eye on them before maybe sanctioning a transfer fee. Very, very shrewd from Tottenham. So look, that's all the news out there today, guys, from me. But we are going to start bringing on guests and have a say. Let's just catch up with the chat just quickly. I think I've missed a few people since you have come, since I was waffling on there. We do have Tony says no cutting edge in the final third without Madison. Johnson has been underwhelming. Look, he has been. Now, to be fair to Johnson, what I would say, Tony, is usually with young players, right? Especially experienced managers. Sir Alex Ferguson was so good at doing that, where you sort of dip them in and out, you start them, you take them out, bring them off the bench and stuff like that until they become a lot more consistent. However, to be fair to Johnson, and I will put this out there, Postecoglou doesn't have that luxury to do that with him right now. So, you know, even if he's not confident, you know, we don't have the luxury to be able to take him out right now and give someone else that sort of opportunity on the right, because we don't really have anyone that can play there. So I'd sort of give Johnson that pass, but I do think he needs to be a lot better. Chris Vian says 2-2 against a shocking United. They are in all kinds of mud. I don't think it was a good result. I just don't know how to feel about it today, my man. Talking Bears says, big up, Dave and chat. Good to see you. DB, great to see you in the building as always. John Tucker's with us. Big up, guys. Great to see you. John Tucker. Who else have we got in here? Mud FC. Our bench was a joke. Look, we've got a lot of injuries, illnesses, players off at international competitions. Nothing more we could do with it, to be honest. Just a harmless potato. Good evening. Big up, all. Great to see you in the building. King Huddle, good afternoon. Big Dave, good afternoon. King Huddle, great to see you. Steph says, if he gets 15 plus, that's pretty decent. On Richarlison, let me know, people in the chat. Do you agree with Steph? If he was to get 15 plus, you'd give him an opportunity next season and get off his back and let him sort of cook, let him prove all around the place. Derek Smith says, I've always liked Richarlison. Hope he keeps this output up. And I suppose that's the big question, isn't it, Derek? Whether he can keep this output up or not. You know, that is the big question when it comes to Richie, or is it just a hot vein of form? Strider says, we need competition for Richie. Look, that's where I'm at with it. Even if he was to score 15 goals, I would still like to bring competition in here with him, because, like, you know, as much as I really want the guy to succeed, and even if he does score 15, there's always I always feel with the guy that maybe there's a potential that could just all come back crumbling down to earth again, and he doesn't find the back of the net. So for me, I don't think I'd ever have trust in him like I did at Harry Kane, just to be able to be that main man, be comfortable and okay to go in with it for the whole season. Or for me, I would like someone else to come in here and compete with him, because I think with Richarlison, you're probably looking at about 15 goals a season sort of striker. You will need someone else to come in and make up the rest of that shortfall. Strathers, big yourself up, my man. Big up the regular, says, big up. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. F and Hell says, oi, Davy boy. Good to see you, F and Hell. Hopefully you're keeping well. Saray says, glad to see Richie has been doing great. He's working hard. He is stepping up his game. That he is. And look, to be fair to him, he said he'd be a lot better after his injury, and he stuck to his word. Spurred for life, says Peter Zorro. I call him Postman Paro, my man. Delivers UK wide. He's absolutely unbelievable. Big up, Bob Encounter. Good to see you in the building, Felix. He says Peter Podrick. Absolutely love that. Love that. Who else have we got? Rob Oi, or OI, says Peter Porter. Absolutely love that. You guys are cracking me up. Peter Porridge. Great to see. We also have Viceman Johnson is horrendous. He needs benching when Kulu is back. Samba Saratel says, big up, guys. Good to see you in the building. Rayman is also with us. Evening, folks. Then we also have Dragon These Nuts. Big, good day, guys. Good to see you in the building. And then we also have Gary Soams says, João Neves, baller. We need to bid. Yeah, that's another rumor today, actually, that Tottenham are potentially looking at that guy from Wolves, that midfielder. Let me know in the chat. You know, if any of you guys really want him, like Gary does here. But I am going to crack on now. I'm going to start getting the guests on. We're going to start having some good conversations around here, so you don't just have to listen to my croaky, whiny voice or my crap opinions either. But look, as we go along, if you keep smashing that like button, that'd be absolutely unbelievable. Really helps us out in the algorithm and is vital if you really want to see this channel hit the stratosphere. Also, feel free to show your support via super chat, whether you want to buy a membership, gift memberships, and stuff like that. Become a part of our community over here. But mainly, as we go along, please put your opinions in the chat to the discussions that we are having. But look, let's start. It's Fan Show. Let's crack on. The first guest we have is Mia from Spurs Between the Lines. So I'm going to put her link in as she comes on. As she's discussing, please get over there and smash the subscribe button on her channel. Mia, good evening. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Chilly. It's a bit cold down by the coast, I'm not going to lie.
Do you know what? I had a walk there about 5 o'clock this evening. It's a bit frosty and icy out here, but I went out in my shorts and I quickly warmed up. I'm not going to lie. Very, very quickly warmed up. But look, Mia, how are you feeling after you? Go on.
I was going to say, don't. My Alex goes out and still in his shorts in that case. The child has got no feeling in his legs, his body, I swear. He goes out in shorts and t-shirt in that case.
No, I absolutely love wearing shorts. Them or tracksuit bottoms. I hate wearing jeans and, slacks and all that sort of restricting stuff. But Mia, how are you feeling after yesterday's result? Because you've got one half of the fan base sort of saying, yeah, look, sort of delighted to get out there with all the circumstances. And then the other half of the fan base going, look, United have shit. We should have came out of there with 3 points.
I'm kind of like, do you know what? When we had a midfield that contained Kulu, I was like, listen, we've got to win this, right? We've got to win it, in my opinion. So I was like, it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be either 2-1 or 3-2. When I predicted my score. When I saw that midfield, I said a draw is the best we can hope for with Skip and Højbjerg in the midfield. It ain't going to be great. It's not going to be creative. I want a draw. So overall, we were the more dominant team, but overall, they had the chance at the end to win it. So a point for me is a good point. We hardly ever win over at Old Trafford anyway. So for us to get points of them this season, we've got 4 points of them this season, which I think, doesn't often happen, Dave. So I think it is a good point, as I say.
No, look, I think when I actually had a look at it, we beat Man United at home, took a point from them away, took a point at the Etihad, took a draw away from Arsenal as well. So when you look at the results that we're actually getting from sort of the teams that are traditionally in and around fighting for the European spots, they do say if you want Champions League football, you have to take points off these teams. And we are doing that. And I think when you sort of look at it on that basis, it does make you happy. And like you said, I think when we seen the starting lineup, right, with Højbjerg and Skip, I think we all sort of really feared the worst because that was a position or an area that we thought we'd be able to sort of dominate, get really on top of them and put them to the sword. How do you think Skip got on, though? Because there's a lot, and Højbjerg actually as well, there's a lot of mixed reactions as well to both performances. Like in my chat yesterday, I was raging about Højbjerg. I didn't think he was good at all. He gave away the ball a hell of a lot. And I'm at the point now, it looks like he's just resigned. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He wants to go. So let him go. But then I had some other people sort of saying to me in the chat, Dave, you're being harsh. He had an okay game. And then Skip, I was sort of, at the start, I was very frustrated with him, but he grew into the game and I gave him a little bit of praise after. But a lot of people were still saying he was useless. How do you think they got
on? So Skip was slightly better. I think he did some wayward passes here and there, but he did do that wicked pass when he just took it. And I don't think anybody expected him to take the ball like that and pass it. And he did he done a few little things that I thought Skip wasn't too bad. Like, he wasn't too bad. He didn't have that many touches of the ball. If you go and look at his statistics, he didn't have that many touches of the ball. But what he did do with the ball was more progressive. If you look at the statistics, I don't look at stats. This was after, but my opinion hasn't changed. I thought Skip was the better of the two anyway before I even looked at those statistics. Højbjerg gave the ball away 20 times. He fell over the ball. I don't know what's he doing lately with falling over the ball. Sorry, Ellie. I know you're going to come back on and defend him, but sorry, I don't think it's defendable. He had I counted 2 good passes that Højbjerg did, right? And the rest, I thought he was pony, giving the ball away in dangerous areas. Not only did he give the ball away, Dave, he gave it away in dangerous areas that then people had to cover for him and to recover the ball because he was doing haphazard, silly passes or getting the ball taken off of him. So for me, I think Højbjerg was horrendous yesterday, and I do think his head's gone. I just think if he wants to go now, we can't have a player with his head somewhere else on that pitch. It's going to cost us games otherwise if players are going to do that. So for me, Højbjerg was definitely the worst of the two. Statistically, he was the worst of the two anyway. So yeah, I think that he wasn't that great at all.
Ellie won't be too happy. I'm sure she'll have a lot of memories from the game that we've forgotten about.
No. We argued. She said he gave the ball 3 times. I looked at his statistics. I was like 23 times or 22 times he gave it away. They're the facts. They're the statistics. They do not lie. Your eyes are lying because you like him and you don't notice these things, maybe. The little giveaways that he did. So he gave it away over 20 times. Facts. You can't deny that. It's a fact.
Well, look, we'll have to wait and see what Ellie wants to say about Højbjerg later on, even if she does. But look, I do think sort of Højbjerg will end up leaving this January transfer window myself. I'm hazarding a guess that Tottenham are waiting to try and wrap up a move for him or wait until they have an option available to come into the club before they sort of let him go anywhere. And if they can't get a fee, they'll probably let him go on loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. Any sort of midfield out there that tickles your fancy? Of course, today, Calvin Phillips was struck off the list by Ali Gold. Any midfielder out there that you'd be looking at to come in here and make an impact?
The thing is, we've been linked with Conor Gallagher, which I don't think is going to happen. I just can't see it. Although the rumour was we were very close to getting him in the summer, which means he's not that reluctant to come. So I'm a bit confused by that one. But the end of the day, I think that it's going to be a big push for them to actually go beneath Poch and get rid of their captain, because he's the captain at the moment. We are looking at the guy from Wolves, and he looks all right. He looks okay. Is it that Ilin Jr.? We're looking at him as well. Is he a midfielder? I'm sure he's another one.
He's a winger, isn't he? Ilin Jr.
He's a winger.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, what? There's so many names, Dave. Go in my head. I've got so many in my head that I talk about on a daily basis. But yeah, I think Calvin Phillips would have been a good one personally. I thought Calvin Phillips would have been decent. Yeah, like I say, we've definitely. What
sort of role in the midfield do you want them to come in and field, Mia? You know, is it the 6? Is it the 8? Is it the creative responsibility? What sort of midfielder would you like us to prioritise?
I think that. Joe, what? It's difficult because see, Sarr can kind of play both, or we don't really know what Sarr is yet in a way, because Sarr kind of like, he's a bit like a switch in between both. So either or, I think, because I think somebody who is more Højbjerg-like, probably a bit more defensive, but has also got the ability on the ball, who isn't slow, who's got a good engine and good work rate. Not saying that he hasn't got a good work rate, and I understand he does work hard. I'm going to give him his dues, but because he hasn't got the ability and he slows everything down, we need somebody who can do all that, but quicker, not so slowly. So for me, I think they're important traits to have. With someone like Conor Gallagher, he can play both as well. So I wonder if possibly we'll go for somebody who is more likely to be able to play both, because then you don't have the limitations of playing them as just one. Then you could switch it around, I suppose, in what you do with your midfield. Because don't forget, we'll have Benny once he's fit, Sarr, we've got Basuma. So, you know.
Do you know what? For me, I think when you look at the likes of Bentancur, Sarr, Basuma, for me, it has to be a player with an engine very, very similar to them sort of options. You know,
absolutely.
Get around the midfield, a bit more athletic than a Højbjerg or Skip, with a bit more pace, a bit more engine about them, especially with the work that they're asked to do in that midfield. On Skippy, just quickly, Mia, we'll take Louise Sherman's comment here. I see Skip improving and gaining confidence. I'm one of the few fans that thinks he can develop into a creative player. What would you say to Louise? Would you maybe tend to agree with that comment? Do you think there is scope for him to actually improve?
Do you know what? He has a game where he's okay, like yesterday, but then he has other games like the last game, the game before, he was literally, I'll tell you what point he got the ball on the, I think it was the left hand or the right hand side, and I went, oh yeah, Skip's on the pitch. And my brother said, he said the exact same thing at the exact same point. We spoke about it after, and I said, that's the point I said it. He went, yeah, that's the point I said it as well. So sometimes he can be okay and have a decent-ish game. Other times he's just completely not there and absent. So I don't think he's consistent enough, to be honest. He's just not consistent. And he's at an age now, Dave, where he needs to be more consistent. Because when you look at Sar's consistently good. He does have little gaps sometimes, occasionally, but off the ball, he works so hard, and people underrate that with Sar. But with Skip, when he's gone and he's not there, he's literally a ghost. So I just don't think he's consistent enough, personally.
Do you know what? I completely agree with you. I think he's at that age, I think because he's an academy product, people still look at him as maybe like he's a little boy, but he's 22, 23 now, sort of 24 going into next year. He can't really afford to be that sort of backup player on the bench going forward if he really wants to develop his career. And I think you're right. We're at an age where maybe this summer Ange's gonna have to make that call, sort of what we do with Ollie Skip. Look, I will say, Louise, though, just quickly, it was a massive improvement on where he's been the previous few weeks. I think he's been absolutely really sort of piss poor the last few weeks. But, I would say that I do think that long-term injury that he suffered has really sort of maybe stunted his development or the progression of his development, I would say, Louise, on that one. But big yourself up. We do like to take different opinions on the midfielders. It brings out the best of us all as well, I suppose. Mia, I'm going to have one more maybe question for you, and then I'm going to ask you, is there anything else that maybe you want to speak about that I haven't? What do you make of Postecoglou sort of giving the players a prolonged period of rest, giving them some days off, not taking them on any warm weather training like other clubs have done to get them prepared for City? Do you think it's the right option right now with everything that's going on within the camp?
Do you know what? It's difficult because I think you see that these players are working really hard for Postecoglou, even coming back from injuries when they're still not fully fit and saying, I want to play for you and I want to play for the team. So I suppose in a way he's repaying them by saying, listen, lads, have a bit of time to rest because I work you hard. So I think that's good probably for morale. I think that people underestimate it because as people, they do need to have some rest. And I know everyone's saying we only played one game a week, but I think for morale's sake, I think that we're getting a lot of injuries because of this type of football that we play. It isn't the fact that we play one game a week, Dave. It's the fact that we run and run and run. So I think that's why we're getting so many injuries. And for me, I don't see anything wrong with him saying, listen, lads, you've worked hard for me. Have a couple of days off. Like, I just think that's fine. I'm sure he'll have them well prepped for the game.
Oh, 100%. We've got 2 weeks now to come up with tactics and everything else. So I think they'll do everyone just to have a sort of a mid-season mini break, go off, let the hair down, let a bit loose, and sort of come back, then refocus, re-energize, and hit the ground running. Just quickly there, when you were saying me, that you don't think it's down to, you think that some of the injuries and that are down to, the intensity that they're asked to play at, train at, and stuff like that. Now, coming from where we were with Conte last year to this season, I can understand if players were to pick up more injuries because of the change in intensity and stuff like that. Do you expect that to maybe subside a little going into next season when more and more players get used to it?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that they will get a little bit more used to the way that we play. And also, don't forget, once he's got good backups, they won't be playing as many minutes, right? At the moment, some of these players are playing loads of minutes because we haven't got anybody to come on for them. So in the Man United game, who did we really have to come on? So they've had to play, a lot of them, a lot more minutes. So if we've got people to bring off the bench, they're going to be playing less minutes, so that he'll be able to manage them better. So I think that will all come with time, them getting used to it, but also having players that we can bring on and he can change it at 60 minutes. So not all the players are playing that many minutes, and he can rotate them a little bit more. So I think that will happen.
I think you make some great points there. I think the fact that we are relying on a lot of these players, it's mad because we relied on one bunch for the first 10 games routinely, then we relied on like a new bunch for the next 10 games routinely. We haven't even been able to have much of a cross between two. But the more we fill out that squad, the more Postecoglou has more options he feels comfortable using. You're right, the less minutes they will play and stuff like that. I will say though, there is a big urgency if we do get European football though next year before competitions to really fill out that squad for Postecoglou in the summer, sort of finalise all the good work that we've done up until now. Mia, before I let you go though, is there anything else that maybe I haven't asked you that you'd like to touch on?
I think we should touch upon a bit of Richie because I've always said about him that I want him to come good, whilst he's here, I want him to come good. And I think that a lot of people maybe go, well, that's what he's supposed to do. And I do get that. But I think with the pressure that he had on him because of the price tag, with the issues that he's had, that he's sort of come through, and the operation, which sometimes can drain you mentally as well, because operations are not a joke. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. So I've got to give props to Richie, man. I've got to give him a bit of respect for coming back and trying up his best and, scoring the goals that he needs to score for the team. So, I'm really happy with Richie. And on Johnson, quickly, I know a lot of people sit on the fence, but I think we haven't given him enough time. He did have an injury at one point. He's obviously come back from an injury and he's been swapped about playing where he's playing. And we all know he's best on the right. And he has been swapped out where he plays, and I just on the left, and he's been playing on the right, which isn't always his strongest. So I think for me, we've got to give him a little bit of time. He's just. I feel like that people maybe jump because of prices, but he didn't make that price.
Yeah,
and I think that he just has to have that little bit of time. Listen, he might not come good, right? I might be completely wrong, but I think we do need to give him time. I think getting on the boys' back too soon isn't really going to do any good. He's a confidence player. He needs to get that bit of cockiness and confidence. He needs to hang around Madders a bit more. Although I did think it was very cute that he had a picture of his mum on his screensaver, and everyone was like, "Oh, I knew you'd say that." But I like mamas. I like boys to be mamas' boys because both my boys are, and I was just like, "That's really cute." If my boys at 22 have a picture of me on their screensaver, oh my god, I'll be like, that's so cute.
Yeah, it means you've done a good job. All right, just quickly, when it comes to Brennan Johnson, look, I'm one of them. I'm guilty, straight after the game, I'm fuming with the guy. But when I've calmed down and I sort of go, look, you got to accept he's going to be here for at least a season and a half to find his feet and stuff like that, and Postecoglou to work with him. But I do think he does need to. But I also one of them. I do think it's okay to place demands on the guy and expectations as well. But one thing you did say there, and I just want to sort of add on to it, and we'll let you plug your channel and find out where people can find you, Mia, is that I think, look, if you want to further down the line, aim, talk about the transfer fee when it comes to Johnson and aim it at the club, fine. But when you're analysing Brennan Johnson, completely scrap that the money that we've paid on him from that point of view, because we all understand this by this day and age that English players now, because they're so crucial to the homegrown quote and stuff like that, homegrown players, they come at a premium. So really 50 million, he's really a 25 million pound player, but it comes at a double. That's not his fault. So when we criticise Johnson, take the price tag out of it, or you're analysing Johnson, take the price tag out of it altogether. That's something you aim at the club, not at the player, in my opinion. But Mia, absolutely great call this evening. Really enjoyed that, actually. And by the way, we actually very, very industrious today. We got a lot of talking points in quite a short space of time, which is great to see. I don't know why my words are evading me today. I feel so.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm a Londoner, so I talk really quickly, don't I? I can talk quite.
I'm
quick.
Irish. I also talk very, very quickly, so I'm told. So it's match made in heaven. Hopefully, people got about an hour's worth of content there in about 10-15 minutes. But look, Mia, where can people find you? Why do they need to get over and subscribe?
Please come over to Spurs Between the Lines. I do all different types of content. I do daily transfers. I do reviews of games. I also do Today's Debate with Kate and Ellie, who actually got crackers on this week. It'll be on tomorrow with us. So that'll be really good, which Yeah, great guest, lovely guy. So I'm really looking forward to it. I do members call-ins myself on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm also going to be doing some members content where it's just exclusively for just members, and also what members stuff that's going to be for everybody to view as well, because I want to get the members involved, because I really like to show that I really do appreciate everybody who's become a member on my channel. But yeah, I've just also hit 1,200 as well.
Wow.
Which is really amazing. Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, guys, please, if it is your first time tuning in here and you're your first time listening to me, please get over there, smash that subscribe button. A great Spurs content creator, but most importantly, a great person as well, which, by the way, I do owe you a phone call, which we'll have tomorrow now that I have a bit more time on my hands. It's been long overdue, by the way, and I know it's my fault. But Mia, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you for having me.
So you can have an hour or two to yourself.
Yeah, make sure you smash the like button for Dave as well. Absolute top man, and does hard work with him and Jack. They're always working hard, so make sure you smash that like button. Big up to Moondog as well. Hope you're well. Yeah. Hope the puppy's good as well. His puppy's so cute.
I haven't seen his puppy, actually. I haven't seen his puppy.
He's got a little Frenchie, the same as Ozzy. He just made me want another one when I saw him. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute.
Moondog, you'll have to send me a picture of your puppy, so you will. You have to. That sounds sick, but send me a picture of your puppy. But Mia, big yourself up. Really appreciate your time this evening. Go off and enjoy yourself, and we'll speak again very, very soon.
I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
See you, Mia. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Everybody, that is Mia between Spurs between the lines. Please get over and check that out. The link is in the chat there for you guys. If you want to get over there and smash the subscribe, she'd be very, very grateful. Moondog said, good evening, Dave and Mia. Sorry I brought it up late, but good evening, Moondog. Good to see you in the building, sir. Hopefully you are keeping well. Guys, he's still on a hot streak, Moondog. He's still on a hot streak. Moondog, you need to start giving me the advice before the game, not after the game, my man. But look, it's good to see you in the building. Hopefully you and Charlie are keeping well. Also, let me know what your thoughts were on yesterday's game. Now, guys, I am starring a few comments that I'm going to, sort of bring up to guests as we bring them on, just to sort of push back or maybe push a little on certain talking points and stuff like that. So do stay tuned and keep getting your comments in. I am trying my best to keep up with the chat as well. It's very difficult on your own. Jazz Fusion says the issue with the subs for me was this: we generally play with 0 holding midfielders. Yesterday they had to play with 2. Absolutely spot on, my man. Absolutely spot on there. Fair point. DB says, more importantly, did anyone think Højbjerg had a colour on his hair just for men? Look, he strikes me as a guy that'll be going grey early, DB, so very well could have. Yeah, says Skip is selfless pass and move. Højbjerg is too passive, negative, passes backwards too often for the system. Fair point, my man. Dermatron is saying leave Pierre-Emile Højbjerg alone. He's on next. He can come on and defend him. And no doubt Ellie will be on there as well at some point. Big up to best of TH Gibbs White. Look, he's a player I'd absolutely love. I thought he was brilliant at Wolves. I think if anyone remembers when Wolves played Wolves, I think it was under Jose Mourinho, I believe, and he was absolutely sensational on the night. Ripped us apart. Gone to Forest, I think he's done all right there. I think he's done well enough. I do think he is a guy that's waiting for that next step up to a big 6 club, and I think he could definitely take it at Tottenham. And if I was him, it would be Tottenham that I'd be aiming to sort of get to rather than any others. No point in going to City or Liverpool or stuff like that. Come to Spurs and you will at least get a chance to prove yourself. But good idea with Gibbs White. We have Vicanum says Skip one good game. He is so much overhyped. Højbjerg one mistake. He gets so much hate. English biasry. We can see it. Oh, look, I don't think there is an English biasry when it comes to it. There's plenty of fans that aren't from the UK that don't like Højbjerg or don't rate his performances as well, to be fair. DB says Connor is a para teach me smoke screen, smoking else is happening. I'm sure. DB, I said it weeks ago. When it came to Phillips and Conor Gallagher that they're being used as smoke screens, and we'll be working on something else completely different that'll come out of the blue, my man. You're absolutely spot on in that regard. I just want to catch up. We also have Derek Smith. Del boy, it'd be okay if we don't buy anyone else this window. There might well be a few bargains available in June 24th with clubs desperately trying to get within the financial rules. Look, 100%, of course, that broke today. Everton and Forest sort of leading the list in that regard. And basically, they will have to sort of sell off some homegrown players to sort of bring that right down, because if you homegrown assets, they will go to your financial fair play record and will write that down. So there will be some homegrown players definitely available in the market come the summer. I'm feeling on that one, Derek Smith. Let me know if there's any. Would you take a Jared Braithwaite from an Everton and Morgan Gibbs White, from a Nottingham Forest? Also, my boy, Ashley Phillips stepping up for Plymouth yesterday. Came out man of the match, or Saturday, sorry, man of the match. The manager absolutely raving about him. And on Sky Sports, Ian McNally as well, when he was sort of analysing, speaking about the game on Sky Sports Soccer Saturday, he said he's a future superstar. He's going to be an absolute superstar. So very, very interested in that regard, Derek. He done brilliant for you guys. Also, big up Paul Wiley. We'll have Sarr, Basuma, Madison, Bentancur, Skip, and potentially Kulusevski all available in midfield pretty soon. And Højbjerg, if he stays on. Look, personally, I don't think Højbjerg will stay on. To be honest with you, Paul, I think he is looking for a move. From my understanding, is that he had a meeting with Postecoglou before the Middlesbrough game. Postecoglou asked him to stay and sort of commit himself to at least the summer, but Højbjerg sort of has alluded to that if a move comes about this January, he wants to take it. And that's why you've seen Skip come on first against Middlesbrough. That's why you've seen Skip starting and Højbjerg sort of coming on after him, because beforehand it was always Højbjerg first off the bench, but that changed since that Middlesbrough game. But big up Strathers. He says, for me, Matters, Decky in the 10, Bentancur, Sarr in the 8, and Basuma +1 in the 6. Skip and Pierre and Højbjerg out. Do you know what, Strathers? I'd actually say Bentancur and Basuma fighting for the 6, and I'd get in someone else to fight for the 8 position. I just think you can't, at this moment in time, you can't take Papamata Sarr out because of what he offers defensively. Yesterday, Marcus Rashford caused us huge problems down that right-hand side, and that's where Papamata Sarr usually excels. He covers down that right-hand side, but also has the legs to be able to help us going forward in that as well. I thought Pedro Porro was very exposed yesterday because he didn't have that protection. So I'd argue that we need someone that's a bit more box-to-box like Sarr. But I can understand where you're thinking. I do agree with you, though, that Bentancur could definitely do that role if asked. But I don't think, because he was sort of asked to do that role at one point in yesterday's game for a period, and I don't think it was working out, Strathers. But I do hear what you're saying. Definitely, we'd like one more midfield option in. Louise Sherman says, fair point about consistency. Time will tell, but I love it if I'm right. Of course. Look, Louise, we all love it when we're right, We all love it when we're right. We all love being right. Look, for me, although sometimes I like to claim I was right on things, I actually just enjoy listening to everyone's opinions. That's what it's about for me. Football's a beautiful game, and everyone sees it through different eyes, right? So what one may think is right, the other may think is completely wrong, an absolute waffle. But look, when it comes to Skip, I think if he really wants to get into that team, right? Because we have to sit there and we have to analyse it. That he's got Bentancur, Basuma, Madison, Sarr. On a technical level, they are absolutely streets ahead of Ollie Skip in terms of technical. And I'd also say in terms of out of possession, I think they're just a lot more effective than Ollie Skip in terms of being able to dislodge the ball, put pressure on players. I noticed with Skip the last few games, barred him, and it was sort of the same for the first half for a while in the Man United game. When he was chasing down things, he was just way off it for a little period. I do think Skip drastically needs to improve all aspects of his game if he really wants a shot at getting into the Tottenham first team or being good enough to stay here long term. But he does show glimpses, right, Louise? And that's probably what you're alluding to. That outside of the boot on the half volley pass to Werner was absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. It was perfect. And he has that ability in his locker. But is that a one-off, a sort of in the moment, sort of spontaneous sort of decision that he made? Or can he start producing shit like that on a regular basis? And that's where Skip really needs to get to. But for me, I think he's got until 24, 25. I'm going off what Harry Winks got. He got to like 27. So he probably has about 4 years left yet. But we'll wait and see. But big up Louise Sherman. Really do appreciate the support. Top woman there. And we have Still Call says Skip needs to go. He is a championship level player. Ellie says, big up Mia Spurs between the lines, 1,200 subs. Congratulations, Mia. Well deserved, hon. You know your ball. Also welcoming AJ as well. Great to see you, AJ. Much love to Mia. I was going to say much love Irish, but I suppose you don't. He just says big up Irish. Much love to Mia, so he doesn't love me. And then Stay Humble says Paulinho from Fulham would be a steal. It would be. I just don't think we'll sort of be able to get him out of there personally. I would absolutely love him here, especially in terms of a player. Maybe to Strada's point, right, sitting there in the 6, break play up and give you that different option to maybe Basuma. So Stradas, maybe people are more agreeing with you. Also welcoming Orishami says, look at Sarri, show to Skip. He don't need years on years to play in Premier League. He's just did in one game to have trust from Ange. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. You do have to take the opportunities when they afford themselves. In years gone by, the standard has been, we'll give you a run of games and hopefully you perform. That standard ain't there now. You've got to come in and perform to a certain level, or you should just have to wait again for your next opportunity. But look, let's keep cracking on. Let's bring on the next guest, and it is the one and only Dermotron, Miles, whatever you want to call him these days, or whatever nickname he gives himself these days. But Derm, how are you keeping my life?
I'm only going what Sean called me. So Sean called me that, and I took it and I ran with it. So I'm not big-headed. I haven't got an ego. If somebody gives it to me, I will take it. You know me by now. I don't have an ego. I don't need my ego stroked like some people.
But come here, Dermo.
Yo.
Let's start. I'm going to ask everyone to start off with this, and then we'll deviate into different talking points from the previous guest. How are you feeling after yesterday's game, my man? Great. Good draw. Old Trafford fought back twice, or unhappy? Should have won.
No, I'm happy because I'm long enough in the tooth to see we've always struggled up at Old Trafford. I can remember us going up there and never winning up there. I mean, there was an old saying, Jesus was a baby the last time Tottenham won at Old Trafford. I mean, that says a lot how bad we were. But no, I was impressed. It was a game where we said it before the pre-game pump-up on We Are Tottenham TV, Dave. We all moaned about the midfield. We all looked at the midfield and went, oh, Jesus. But it was a midfield that worked yesterday, that worked its socks off. Look, I agree. Højbjerg wasn't great yesterday. I'll agree with that.
You agree with me?
I don't agree with Mia in a way, but he'd done some good things. But I felt there was one point in the game where he lost the ball and he just stood there. And Bentancur and Skip had to cover for him. Where I'm shouting at the TV screen, run after the ball, get back. Look, you with Højbjerg, he's a bit Marmite. You like him or you don't like him. He does a lot of good work in that midfield. But I do feel the last few games since his head's been turned a little bit, it's like he's not given 110%. He's given 100% or 105%. There's that 5% he's leaving out there. Skippy grew into the game, but I thought Bentancur yesterday was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz class is what I call him now, Dermo.
Yeah, look, he made that team tick yesterday. And when have we ever gone to Old Trafford and ended up with 63.7% of possession? Ended up having 16 shots on goal, 6 on target. We outpassed them. We out-tackled them. We out-cornered them.
Can I give you my feeling on the stats of the overall game, and then let me know what you think on it, right? So when it comes to the stats, Dermo, I was sort of looking at them yesterday after the game, and I sort of said this to Jack. I think when you look at the amount of possessions and amount of possession we had and the amount of chances we had, I think it makes us look actually this time around better on paper than what we did than the performance. Whereas before, I would argue like our performance looks a lot better than the stats. And what I mean by us looking, the stats making us look a lot better is I thought, what did we do with the possession? And also the amount of shots. I don't think we really created a lot of clear-cut chances. They were sort of pop shots from here and there and stuff like that. Would you agree or would you disagree?
I probably would agree. Look, we took our chances when we had them. We did take our chances. So did Man United, to be fair to them. I think the first goal we conceded was a bit of Porro's fault. Romero didn't stretch a leg out where he could. Is that because he's not fully fit? Was he scared he was going to injure himself again? Which I get it. I thought the way we come out in that second half and scored within 20 seconds, something like that. I thought that was outstanding. I thought that was the way. That's the response. It was a response. But when have we ever done that up at Old Trafford? I mean, as I said, 43 years supporting Tottenham. I've never seen this, apart from the 6-1. I've never seen this outplay Manchester United at Old Trafford. No team's really gone there, Dave, and outplayed them very rarely. So for us to do it, it shows that we've moved on as a team. It shows Ange's got us pointed in the right direction. And the players that were out there yesterday, I am proud of every single one of them. They put in a performance. They put in the shift. Richie ran his socks off. He ran his socks off yesterday. I didn't think he was still standing after the end of the game. He was sensational, Richie, yesterday, I have to say.
Do you take back what you said about on the pre-match on the pre-match build-up, Dermo? Because I was only on the phone to you having a laugh with you early on. I was like, do you know what? Every time you slate him, he scores, right?
I swear to God, he's watching your show, Dave. He said, well, I'm going to prove that Dermotron wrong. Look, no, I don't take back what I said. I stand by what I said because I think there's a point where Richie hasn't really been consistent enough. He's not your striker to get you 15 goals. You look at somebody like Kyogo, who worked well within the Ange system up at Celtic. You look at players, you look at a striker that will be there on the end of them chances. Look, I think Richie's does well. He's a good squad player. I feel the price we paid for him was over the top, a bit like Johnson as well. But I feel Richie's good there for squad play. We've got so many games next season in so many different competitions. He'd be great to have within the squad because of the way he is. He's bouncy attitude, his shithousery. He's the way you see that when the players come in, he's always mucking around with the squad or playing a joke. You need that sort of within the group to keep the group up and keep the group going during the tough times of the season, like round now when players are feeling tired and players are getting injured. You need that sort of clown, a bit like Gaza was back in the day, a bit of clown in there to keep everyone's sort of laugh and joke. And I think that's what Richie brings. But
do you know what? Just quickly on that, I think you make a great point. I think he would make a great squad player. He can cover all three positions across the front three, and one thing that will be absolutely guaranteed when you play him is he's going to work. He's going to work his socks off. He's going to work his absolute cock off, even if things aren't going. He's going the right way. Dermo, just quickly before I move on, I want to ask you sort of what DB has put in here about the Ollie Skip and Højbjerg, and then I want to ask you about the back line as well, maybe. Give me just a quick number. What Richarlison needs to score for you to say yes, he can be our main man next season, and I have confidence in him.
Look, if he gets 15 goals, I think that would turn my head a little bit.
Is that enough to be main man, though, Dermo?
I don't think it's enough to be main man. And if you're main man, you're looking at 25, 30 goals a season. Yeah. You're looking at the Harry Kane, Haaland sort of era to be sort of be a main man. But if he can be 15 and everyone else then chip in with their goals, I think you will find that would be enough. Look, Teddy Sheringham wasn't the prolific goal scorer, but he got over 20. See, he was always 20 goals a season or less than that. You look at other strikers as well we've had in the Defoe. They've never really been prolific. We've been so lucky with Harry Kane being so prolific, over 30 goals a season most of the time, that we've seemed to forget strikers don't score more than 20, 25 goals a season. Only if you're really, really at the top of your game and really the next level that you get above 30. Gary Lineker was the same. Gary Lineker was a prolific goal scorer in his era. But I think 15, 16, 17, I think, okay, you'd be good. That's what you need. And then everybody else needs to chip in. Because 15 in those games where he scores, that's near enough guaranteeing you sort of 15 points, if you know what I mean. Because he will get you goals means point. He will nick in with a winner or a draw here. But 15, 16 goes for me. And I think that would turn my head. He's a great squad player. He will be. He's not worth 60 million. I'll stick by that. And I stick by he's been absolutely, he does my head in. He frustrates me more than anyone. But I love him at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird relationship.
I get it. Do you know what? I think a lot more people actually feel much similar to you when it comes to that, Dermo, that they find him very, very frustrating or almost sort of maybe hate him as a footballer, but then sort of loves the guy. I love the shithousery in front of the United crowd yesterday. Yeah. And look, I've no doubt there was a sneaky pigeon dance somewhere from you yesterday. But Dermo, I want to move on to DB's point here, where he says, no other manager could have got more out of the two midfielders, and he's alluding to Højbjerg and Skip. They were okay, but put a shift in better than I thought they would be. Would you go along with that? Because King Huddle, to the contrary, says, sorry, Dave, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg works his socks off. He put in a monumental shift and even played a few progressive passes. You are being harsh. Now, to be fair, I do remember one of them passes was absolutely sublime. Split the fullback and the centre-back right in behind for Werner. I mean, that's ideally what you want to do as a midfield player, them passes you want to make. But I do think he was piss poor yesterday. And I thought Skip, although he grew into the game, I still think he needs to be a lot better. But, you know, to DB's point, as Ange got the most out of him more than maybe any other manager could.
I think so. I think so. I think them players will do anything for Ange. They'll walk through a brick wall for Ange. And I think as clinical as I have been with Højbjerg, look, I've seen Højbjerg. I've always said it. If you're in a battle, he's the man that gets you. You want him in the trenches with you. And I feel a little bit let down by his last few performances because I expect so much more from Højbjerg. Skippy. Look, Skippy, I think has got to his limit. I think Skippy is a lower Premier League player or a Championship player. I do feel that's... And look, I love Skippy. He's a Tottenham boy. He's come through the ranks. And you got to say fair play to him for coming through the ranks. It's always great to see a player to come through the ranks to make it into the first team and stay there. That's not easy. That's not easy to do. How many players have come through the ranks and not have the talent to stay there? Look, he's not going to be the world's best midfielder, but he would give you heart and soul for the club. He's one of them players. He would give everything. And Højbjerg, for me, I feel Højbjerg plays better with better players around him.
Yeah.
If he's playing with his Skippy, he sort of plays at that level. If he plays against a Basuma or a Bentancur, he plays at a higher level because that other player is dragging him on. Come on, Højbjerg. You can do better than this. Come on, you can do better. You are right about the pass. I mean, I've said it before. Some of his passes are like Glenn Hoddle's passes, some of them. And I have said that before in this channel, and they are. If you look at some of them, that pass he made for a goal last season for Sonny, where he did it near enough from outside our own area, that long pass into Son, that's something like Hoddle would have done back in the day. But look, I think Højbjerg will leave this window. I think he will leave. I think Skippy will leave as well. Tottenham are looking at 2 new midfielders for the cover for Skip and Højbjerg. So look, I think Højbjerg will be gone. I'd be sad when he leaves, but I think it's time for him to move on, I think. But he's always, as I agree with Derek Smith, he's always been professional. You never see him slagging the team off, and that I respect him for. I'm fair play.
No, look, and that's one thing I was going to add as well. I think you can never ever question Højbjerg's professionalism, right? No. You know, from reports that have been put out there about him over the years, he's first one in, last one out, you know, sets the standard and the tone in around the training ground and stuff like that. And look, for me, I think he's been a great servant to this football club. Okay, maybe he hasn't always been at his best 100% here and there. You know, he's had a couple of bad performances, but you also have to look at it. For nearly 3 years of this, his time at this club, the guy only played nearly every single game. And I think that sort of gets overlooked a hell of a lot. You know, when we were dead and buried with numbers in that midfield where we didn't have much to choose from, he worked his absolute cock off in that midfield. And I think he does deserve a bit of sort of respect on that regard. Absolutely spot on. Dermo, what do you make of Van de Ven and Romero's return to the first team yesterday? Glad to see it happening. Do you think the 2 goals could have been defended better by either or?
Look, I was glad to see them in the starting lineup. Surprised to see Romero there, to be fair. And I feel Romero's not fit. And I think his attitude is, I want to get back and help the team, boss. Let me get in. You're struggling. You can't put down their determination to do right for the team, to do right for Ange. Me personally, I would have put Dragonson in there and put Romero on the bench, and then bring him on. But for me, I thought he was at fault for the first goal. I'm sorry, Mia, just don't shoot me for saying it. Romero, I thought he was.
Yeah, I thought. Do you know what, Dermo? I thought he could have defended the first goal a lot better as well. To be fair,
could that?
And by the way, just quickly, those who say I never criticised Romero, make sure when you come back at me with that in future that you be honest now, and you have heard me make one criticism of him.
Yeah, I do think he didn't want to stretch his leg if it's the injury, and he was a bit wary of what he's had before. Was he a little bit nervous of doing that, which is understandable. But I thought after that, they grew into the game, and I thought him and Van de Ven were brilliant yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. But look, Romero... We needed
I
a
don't think.
captain out there.
Yeah. Do you know what, Dermo, on that though? I don't think they hit the heights that they were at in the first 10 games,
No.
which look is expected, right? You know, they're both only back from injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do feel that if they weren't returning from injury, would them 2 goals have happened, do you think?
It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. It is hard to say because you're sort of playing in the land of if only or if and but. You don't know. It could have done. They might not have done. It's hard to say. But look, for me, I thought they were fantastic at the end of it, and they really put in a shift for the team yesterday. And what I admired about them most is they put aside their selfish thoughts of themselves and put themselves first for the team. And that, you know, injured or not injured, I want to go out there. I want to put a shift in. We got to help the boys here. They're struggling. Ange, let me in. And Ange is probably reluctant. Look, I can't let you in. You're going to get injured. I don't care. I'll take the responsibility. It's a bit like he was saying about Bentacle yesterday. Bentacle came to him. I'm taking the responsibility. It's my body. You need to help out there, boss. I will help you. Same with Romero. We needed the captain. He's one of the 3 captains, and he captained it brilliantly yesterday. I've always said Romero, the captaincy for Romero will calm him down. You look at Maradona back in the day, he was Argentinian hothead. The Argentinian man gave him the captaincy. It calmed him down and become probably the world's the greatest player we've ever seen. Romero could be the greatest defender of his generation if he can just calm down a little bit and then get the captaincy, calm down, and let his football do the talking because he is one hell of a player and one hell of a defender as well. Him and Van der Ven, partnership for the next 5 years.
And you know what? I think there's so much made about Romero's aggressive side of the game, the tackling and stuff like that. I actually think it really overlooks how good of a player he is, especially on the ball technically, the passing ability of him as a centre back. I think that gets overlooked amongst all the sort of criticisms of his game and stuff like that. Or Jazzy Fusion also says, I wonder if Romero was afraid 6 would start if he came right in and impressed.
Yeah.
Look, maybe it was. Maybe he did sort of rush himself back because he very quickly declared himself ready and available. Dermo, last question I'm going to throw at you is Postecoglou's decision to give players time off rather than take them away on warm weather training. Right decision or wrong decision in your eyes?
Great decision. Great decision. It gives the players, look, he's asked the players, you do this for me, I'll give you something back in return. It's give and take. And they're saying, right, guys, you've worked your socks off for me. There is a bug going around the team anyway. So what's the point of dragging them halfway around the world to warm train it where they're tired, they need a break. They're better off staying at home, having a week off and come back in next week fresh, ready to go and start building up for the Man City game. And for me, I think that's the sign of a genius manager. That's the sign. Fergie would have managers back in the day, the greatest managers, Clough, Ferguson, all of them would have done the same thing. It's about keeping your balance of your squad right, happy. If you've got a happy squad, they will do anything for you. So it's a bit of give and take. They've worked hard for me. Right, this is my reward for you. Have a week off, relax at home, and then come in next Monday. We'll go for it again. And this is where winning is done. This is how teams win championships or win cups. Because them players now will give Ange an extra 10% on the games because they know, well, listen, if we're good for him, he's going to be good to us. Fergie was the same at United. He was any player had a problem, you go, son, you go off. I'll look after you. You guarantee you that player will come back and give him 20, 30%. The same with Ange. These players will give Ange. And one thing on Johnson before we go, Dave. Sorry, I don't mean to
No, okay.
I think people need to take a chill pill on Johnson and just think back to Harry Kane. We were going to sell him because they thought he wouldn't make it. Everyone was everyone slating Gareth Bale when he first came. We couldn't get a win with him in the team.
They were slating Gareth Bale, actually. I remember I was alive.
Yeah, exactly. People were slating, And I asked the question today: has the fan base got more demanding as the years have gone on? Yeah, we have, but Johnson will be a sensational superstar when he gets going. You watch that kid go. I put all my faith in him. He's going to be the next best thing at Tottenham, guaranteed. I put my reputation on that.
Do you know what, Dermo? Just quickly on that. I hear a lot of the sort of Bale comparisons, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. But back then, it was different, you know. We had
It
time to let
was.
players
Mm.
flourish, you know. There wasn't that much expectations on Tottenham where we were and stuff like that. Now there's a complete different level of expectation, a lot more money involved, which raises the stakes, which reduces the time or the time allowed by fans to come in and hit the ground running. I understand completely what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying, you know, maybe just giving a quick counter argument to that. But look, we'll have plenty more discussions on that coming weeks, Dermo, so we won't get buried on that because we'll probably have a lot more argument in the future on that. But look, I want to give you time quickly to plug your channel, tell people where they can find you, my man, and then we'll let you off.
Yeah. You can find me on THFC today. Myself and Mr. Philip Brady are over there giving you all the latest breaking transfer Tottenham news. We are the number one channel for that, because we don't clickbait, we don't do anything. We give you the news. If it's a rumor, we say it's a rumor. If it's a fact, we will tell you it's a fact. So get over there as well. And also, we've got a new show starting this week as well, Top 10s. I've nicked it off YouTube. So if Gary Lineker wants to ever quote me, I'm nicking this idea off him, by the way. But me and Philip and the guests are going to get together. We're going to say top 10 best Premier League teams, players, whatever. It's sort of easily explained. So that's coming up this week.
Nice.
And we're on live tonight at 9 with FFP. I've got latest news on that. Some little bit of breaking news on the FFP as well on certain teams. And just to give you a little bit of tepid for that, Dave, there are 6 teams also breached of breaking FFP. I don't know who they are yet. They are all facing points deductions. So Tottenham winning the league? I tell you one thing, it could well bloody well so this season. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. You never know, lad. You never know. Keep picking up points, and you watch that conversation gather momentum, my man. But look, everybody, just quickly, please get across the Dermatron THFC till I die. Smash the subscribe button if you've enjoyed his input here and in general on the channel. And make sure you show them the love. You know, these people give up their hard-earned time or their downtime to be able to come on and have conversation. So please show them the love. Dermo, big yourself up, sir, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. All right.
Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe here as well to these guys as well. They're putting a lot of hard work in. The mothership to our channel. And I said we're nearly at 2K, so all would be appreciated. Thank you so much. Cheers, Dave.
Big up, Tron. Appreciate that. See you soon, my man. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Everyone, big up, Tron. Great call there. Having great discussions this evening, so we are. Now, I'm just going to go through some more comments, keep catching up as I go along. We have International Observer. We need 2 more in the midfield. That's if we then say Ndombele, Skip Celso to be moved on and experienced, and a youngster example, MGW or Vermeeren at Liège. He's at the club. Yeah, he's at where Toby Alderweireld is at, isn't he? Vermeeren. Look, very, very highly rated a kid. He is. You know, he's 18 now, I believe. You know, he's got a lot of experience, you know, in a decent league, you know, at his age. Now, the question is, can he make that step up? I think it reminds me a lot of Yuri Tillemans when he was sort of at Anderlecht, right? You know, he's playing European football for Anderlecht and stuff like that. A lot of hype around his name. Got his move to Monaco, done well, went to Leicester, done well. Okay, it tailed off for a season or 2, but ultimately he's a good player. And maybe Vermeeren is one that maybe we should be looking at closely to pull the trigger on, big yourself up. But I do think there'll be a few clubs after him. Ed Sweating says, big up Dave and Dermo on the way home from work. Can't miss a show. Our 3 most dangerous forwards, players, Kulu, Madison, Son, missing 2 goals. Missing 2 goals is a good result. Look, we created a little bit more than what I thought when I initially seen that lineup. When I seen that lineup, I scratched my hair like, you know, you're going to need a massive game from Bentancur, Porro in that regard, you know, to provide the creativity that we need, because Johnson isn't a provider, Richarlison isn't a provider, and neither is Timo Werner, really. They're all players that need to be provided. So, you know, I think you know, what you said there, Ed Sweating, is probably true. You know, the fact that we came out with 2 goals is probably a blessing in disguise in that regard. Big yourself up. I really appreciate the commitment to the cause, my man, and hopefully safe journey home as well. By the way, Davey Huss, come on, you Spurs need cover for matters. More creative player that doesn't get injured every 2 weeks with a fit squad. We will be a danger. Do you know what? I think Postecoglou is trying to use Kulu as that guy. You know, I'm not saying that Kulu would be a backup by any means. But I think if you get an injury to Maddison, you'll see Kulu assume that role, or even maybe a Bentancur in the future. For me, I wouldn't be too concerned on getting in another sort of creative midfielder in that regard. I think we've got more than enough. For me, I just want someone that's very similar to Papa Matasara. I don't think we've got that going. I think we badly miss it. Going to keep this comment here for KPV. Can come on and have you say about Ollie Skip when we get to him. Scooter reacts. Good morning, all. Skip and Pierre and Højbjerg a bang average, bar injuries and tournaments. These two would be lucky to make our bench. Do you know what? I sort of agree with that. Look, I'm not Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg is a step up. I think Højbjerg is a good player. But I do think we're starting to move on past the point of someone like Pierre and Højbjerg, which I think is sad. Personally, I think it's been a good, but I do think we need to move on. But I do think Højbjerg is better than bang average. Though Scooter reacts. Good to see you. Timmy One says we will miss constant availability of Højbjerg, and that I definitely agree with. You know, the best availability has been available for selection, as they say. Spurs Ninja, big up lads in chat. Let's not forget that someone the golden boot that time you shared it with Sally. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on, but look, that was the only season he's done it, if you know what I mean. Every other season he hasn't lived up to that standard. That was a once-off. Can he do it again? Look, I would love to see it happen again. I think he's an incredible player. Done well for Korea today as well, very well, in fact. But, you know, in isolation, that was a once-off in that regard. Spurs Ninja, but I do hear what you're saying. I wouldn't put it beyond the realms of possibility to happen again, though. Big up, Jacob. Well, good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Great to see you in the building. Big yourself up. We also have Ugly Fish. If Pierre and Højbjerg wants to move, then he would be trying his best to impress. He looked off for a few weeks ago when he thought his move. You know, I look at it a bit differently. I think he knows he's got enough interest in him. His agents would definitely be having talks with club representatives and stuff like that. When it comes to Højbjerg, I actually think he's just trying to not get injured. You know, if he gets an injury and he's out past the January transfer window, it rules the move. You've got to remember, he's going to the Euro at the end of summer, so he wants to get out and play regular first-team football to be fit for that. Also, big up James Flower, Mia as well, Spurs Ninja. I will keep these questions for guests as we bring them on, so keep getting them in. I'll keep starring them. Also, the foggy phone, the backline is looking up to Romero. Even Anne said it, Dragosin has to learn and fight for his minutes. And also, again, that's one thing I think, another thing that gets overlooked when it comes to Romero. How many people across that backline look up for him? Look, first of all, he wouldn't have been made that captain across that backline if they didn't look up to him. So, you know, that says everything we need to know. But also, I think he organises defence very well, you know, in that regard. Someone that's not afraid to shout and maybe speak and right across the line, hold the line and stuff like that. And look, Van de Ven, look at the words Van de Ven had when he came in, right? He learns off Romero and stuff like that. And then Dragosin as well. And what Andrew said, so you're absolutely spot on there. Foggy Foam, Ricky Nato. Good evening, sir. Evening, brothers, and all my Spurs family. I'm dancing on the ceiling. Our Spurs are playing again. Great show as usual. Ricky Nato committing Vernon on the dance floor, and Spurs are in the mood. That's what he's doing. Absolutely love that, Ricky Nato. Good to see you. We also have James Flower. Why take them away when the best of the best at the training ground? Look, that's another fair point, right? You know, why would you put them away in 5-star accommodation and a lap of luxury when they're already living in it, I suppose. Good evening, Big D as well. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Along with San Antonio Spurs. Great to see you. And Daniel Field in as well. Come on, you Spurs. Great to see all you guys. So, guys, we are going to keep cracking on. The next guest is Brad, and I've got a lot more guests lined up in the background as well. It's nearly full, so if anyone has any problems getting in, you're just going to have to wait your time. Because it's full and there's nothing I can do. I can't kick anyone out. You know, we want to be able to speak to as many people as we can. Also, keep smashing that like, as I've put in the chat already. If there's anything you want to see discussed on this show, make sure you put your questions in. I'll start them and bring them up as I bring guests on. But also, if you really want to support what I'm doing here, you know, it's a hard gig doing this solo. Feel free to send in a super chat with a talking point or even just appreciation. But why not grab one of them channel memberships? Another great way to support us. Become a part of our community. Check out all the members-only content. But pick yourselves up. Also, Nomad coming in here as well. Mr. Edmondson, Steve Combo as well. Jamu is in here as well. Great to see all you guys. But let's keep it moving. Let's get on the one and only Mr. Brad Matthews. Let's see how he is. Braddy boy, how you keeping, my man?
Good, thank you, David. Hello to everyone in the chat. Yeah, good. Bit tired after yesterday, basically. It's a long day.
Yeah, a very long day.
Yeah, very.
Long day. Come here. How are you feeling after that result? What do you make of the game yesterday?
I'm relatively pleased with the draw. I thought we were a team that could have won the game. I thought we were better than Man United. I thought we could have won the game. We still didn't create enough chances for my liking. We're still in that final third, and obviously we're talking about Brennan Johnson earlier. Yeah, the final ball with Brennan Johnson, but I don't think it's only him. I think generally speaking, our final balls needs to improve. But no, I'm happy. We haven't got a good record at Old Trafford. Apart from that 6-1, I think when we won 3-0 up there when Morris scored a couple. But someone made the point today that this season we've gone a goal behind twice at the Etihad, the Emirates, and Old Trafford, and we come back in every one of those games and haven't lost any of those games. So I think that's a pretty good record. And if you look at, our possession doesn't mean everything, but yeah, I thought we controlled a lot of the game yesterday. So happy that we got the draw, but it could have been better. But on the bright side, I had a tenner on 2-2. So another bet was won. Although
Not bad. You're another one like Moondog. You'll have to start giving me advice before the game.
Yeah, just had this feeling, and because everyone on all the sites was saying that we're going to win. I thought, yeah, you know what Man United are like. So I just thought 2-2 just seemed right at the time. Although, to be fair, I would have sacrificed that bet for a Tottenham win. So when it was 2-2, quite early on, I thought the odds on there'd be more goals after 2-2. But no, I wanted to win. I would have sacrificed that winning that bet to have got the win, the 3 points.
Do you know what? I was the same. I was sort of looking at, the last 20 minutes. I was like, go for it, go for it. I just felt like the more I wanted us to go for it, the less we were creating, the more possession we were starting to give away. It was a real frustrating watching that regard. But look, like you, I sort of, look, we got away unscathed, really, got to put a point on the board, and it's about keeping the points board ticking over. Look, one player I haven't really had many great discussions on this evening so far is Brennan Johnson, Brad. What do you make of the performance? What do you make of the criticism that he's getting as well? And look, I'm one of them, but feel free to be honest.
I think it's fine to criticise him, but don't write him off. A lot of fans are writing him off, which I think is very, very unfair. This is a guy, and I think the point that hasn't been made tonight is, despite Spurs' lack of trophies over the last 20 or 30 years, the step up from Nottingham Forest or any club from the Championship to like mid-table English Premier League teams, that step up from Nottingham Forest to Tottenham is a big, big step. The difference in the two clubs is immense. So I think that we tend to underestimate that. I think he'll come good. He's got pace. He's not afraid to go past players when he gets the ball. And I think it's his final ball. It's his final ball. In fact, just before Man United got the first goal, he put a crossover where I think Timo Werner was totally unmarked, and I think the ball went right over his head. Didn't get anywhere near him, and Man United went up the other end and scored. So I think once he gets that final ball sorted, I think it'd be good. But let's face it, a lot of players, Lucas Moura never really had a final ball.
Yeah.
And he had a relatively successful career at Tottenham. So yeah. So I think. Do
you know what, though, Brad? On that, I actually agree with you, but I don't want to get into the brackets of comparing him to a Lucas Moura. I'd rather hold him to a Bale and a Lennon standard and try and get back there if we can, because how unhappy I was with like a Lucas Moura and Bergwijn's options. But look, like I said, with Johnson, I think he's just looked 22. Look, to me, Brad, I don't know about you, but he doesn't look confident. You look at some of the young players now, right? Got a bit of swag, a bit of cockiness about them, stuff like that. And I don't think Johnson has that. I think yesterday at times when the camera sort of zoomed in on him in the game, he looked like shell-shocked or like a boy in a man's world.
He's very boyish though in his looks, isn't he? I think he's just that's how he looks. He doesn't look. Was he 22? I think he looks younger than 22. He looks like he's about 18. So and when you see him interviewed, he's a very sort of nice lad. I don't think he's got that arrogance inside him. Doesn't make him a bad player, but if you look at someone like Madison's got that arrogance, and he's a top player. I don't think Johnson's got that. So yeah, I just think it's the way he looks. He's just a very young looking footballer. and then maybe it gets that impression. But any player that gets the ball and tries to take a player on has got to be confident in my opinion. So yeah, I think. I mean, he's obviously trying to impress. He's only been at the club, a short time, so he's obviously trying to impress. And yeah, maybe he does get nervous. Maybe he does get like that. But yeah, I just think we need to just give him a bit more time. And obviously, once we get the full squad back and maybe sign some other players, then we'll have a chance to rotate players and have players fighting for their spot. But at the moment, I think you made the point earlier. It might have been backstage that we've had one group of players for the first half of the season, and then the next half we had another group of players. We've never had that squad where we can rotate in and out. Sort of thing.
And I do think it benefit from that being dropped in, dropped out. I think it, wouldn't put as much pressure on and wouldn't put as much into the spotlight and stuff like that. Look, I do also think, where we're going this season, Brennan Johnson needs to try and get with it as quickly as he can because, he can really sort of fire us into a title challenge, or else if he doesn't, we could end up being top 4 and he could be a real difference maker if we could get him going. Brad, one thing I haven't asked anybody, Swan, I want to ask you, what do you make of Johnny Evans' elbow on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? Because it sort of just went under the radar. The stream me and Jack were watching, one replay, dust under the carpet, off you go, made it look like it was normal. But for me, he purposely caught him with the elbow and then spun to make it look like he was trying to maneuver. What's your thoughts? Because if that was Romero, I think you'll agree. If that was Romero, front page news this morning.
Yeah. I think it was intentional. But I think it was like he was intending to just glance. I don't think he was actually elbowing. I think it's just just a little glance. I think that. But they actually did mention it on Ref Watch this morning on Sky Sports News.
They did.
They mentioned it. Yeah, and Dermot Gallagher, when they asked him, "Oh, was that intentional?" and Dermot Gallagher said, "Only he knows." So.
Come on. Because when it was Romero, they were going, the kind of person is, that's intentional. I mean. I'm glad I wasn't watching it, Brad. I would have to tweet them there and then live. That's Joe. Genuinely, though, what's your thoughts? Do you think it should have been looked at? Because if it's a red card, that changes the game.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, VAR tends to look at things that you think, why are they looking at that, and not look at things that they should be looking at. So I don't know. I thought it was intentional. I don't think it was an intentional. I'm going to hurt you, elbow. I think it was just a glance. I think he intended it as a glance, sort of, I'm here sort of thing. And fair play to Højbjerg, he just sort of didn't react. I mean, he could have just fell on the floor, couldn't he? But he didn't. You
make a great point there, because I have a feeling if it was for Richarlison, he would have made a meal of it, right?
Without doubt.
And he hit the ground like a sack of shit to win free kicks, which I love. And I almost wonder if Højbjerg made more of it, would they have made a bigger deal of it? The fact that Højbjerg didn't, is that why maybe he got away with it? But Brad, I do also want to go on.
Yeah, I think if he'd have fell on the floor, I think that all the players would have got involved. They'd all surrounded, and there would have been a melee, and then. What does the referee do there? He might have ended up booking our players as well. So, let's face it. If our player had done that to an opposition player and the opposition player had hit the ground, we'd all be going, look at that sort of thing. So, fair play to Højbjerg that he just sort of,
he almost saved Johnny Evans' skin there, I'd argue. Paul, Mia wants to know, though, who's the man of the match from yesterday's game in your eyes?
Oh, Bentancur, without a doubt. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Yeah, I thought he was absolutely excellent. We've been talking about Højbjerg and Skip, but the game that Bentancur had makes Højbjerg and Skip's game look average anyway. So, I think that Bentancur was on top form yesterday. And I left that match thinking, wow, we don't realise what a good player we got there. Because I forget, he did it in the World Cup at that top level in the World Cup for Uruguay. He was an excellent player there. And I think, the way he took that goal was absolutely superb. There was no panic. He just I'm going to take it a little bit to the left and then smashed it in the back of the net. I think he brings a certain rhythm to the team. And I think what'll be really good to look for is once I think Spurs miss the energy of Pape Sarr when he's not playing. And I think when you've got Pape Sarr and his energy and then Bentancur with his coolness, I think you're going to have some sort of midfield there. But I thought he was very good. Richarlison, I thought, had a good game. Worked really, really hard. We never doubt that he doesn't work. But he took that goal well. And I'm interested to know the story behind. He did his pigeon dance, but he also did a little bow, didn't he, to the Stretford end?
Do you know what I think that might be about? Do you think he's got his back up after the podcast that Callum Wilson and what's that West Ham Muppet? What's his name? Mikel Antonio.
Possibly.
Do you think he could put to that? Were United fans giving them stick? Did you have commentary on?
It could also be after his days with Everton as well, because don't forget, Manchester and Liverpool don't get on very well, do they? So it might have been he might have as always an Everton player, or an ex-Everton player, even though he's obviously not a Liverpudlian. I think he might have had stick from him before, but that was very interesting. But he took his goal well, and he's a decent player. And those sort of we had some really good corners. Bentancur had the header that was nodded off the line. We had Romero hitting the bar. Our set pieces are looking pretty good these days.
I would have loved it if Romero scored, because if you remember last time he was out after his suspension, he came back against West Ham, scored. If he would have come back against Man United and scored, that would have been unbelievable.
And if he'd have scored, he scored at the right time. That probably not a lot could have happened in that half, and we went and scored first minute of the second half. So we might have won the game if that had got in. So
might have. It would have been nice. Would have been nice if that went in. It was like 4 yards out as well, but just an inch lower. So frustrating.
Yeah.
But Brad, I want to bring up a question from James Flower. He says, "I'm so excited to see a fully fit Spurs squad. 5 first-team players was missed yesterday. What do you think we should be aiming for next season?" He wants the league.
I think that we've still got half a window left. We've got another full window before the season starts next season. I've always said that Postecoglou is he's got a free hit this season, effectively, as he gets his squad together. I think that we should be aiming. I've always said to aim high. I've always said to aim higher than this top four. Just go for the tops. Let's face it, the teams that are playing this season, our fully fit first team would beat anyone on their day.
Yeah,
so why shouldn't we? We've gone to Old Trafford and more or less controlled the game. So with extra players in that team and another season under their belt, or this half of this season under their belt and another pre-season, why not? Why not? I think it's out of the question this season. I don't think we're realistically title contenders this season. Okay, we're 6 points off the top, so mathematically we are. But I think we'd have to. You look at the teams at the top. We'd have to beat those three teams. We'd have to go to Anfield and win. We'd have to beat Man City at home. We'd have to beat Arsenal at home, because that brings us 3 points closer to them at the top. If they beat us, that takes them 3 points away from us. So I think if we could do that, then maybe. But I think it's realistically, it's not going to happen. But I think next season, why not? Why not? This is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. This should be the aim every season.
Yeah.
If you ask the Liverpool supporter that, or a Manchester City, well, now they've got the money behind it. They laugh at you. If you sort of said, we could go for the league? Yeah, of course we are. So I think that's and obviously, surely we can't have an injury season this season like next season. Yeah. Surely that way, it's incredible.
But you know what, Brad? I found myself saying that under Antonio Conte last year, because we also dealt with a lot of injuries, and here we are again this year. So you just never know. You just never know. But Brad, absolutely awesome chat, my man. Really appreciate the time. I sort of agree with you when it comes to. I think the club are looking at next season, gearing up for a challenge on all four fronts. I would say back in the Champions League, the squad is almost nearly there. A couple more additions come this summer. You're really sort of elevate and push it on. Look, this year it's a bit of a pipe dream. However, I will not stop believing until it's mathematically possible. No one will ever take that away from me. As a football fan, I have to have that.
Under Pochettino, we went for the title twice. So you could argue that the first time it was a very poor league. But hey, you got to be in it to win it. So so why not? Why not?
And you know what? I think there's very similar shades of what was going on under the Poch. Obviously, Poch done it a little bit differently. But what I mean is, Poch got a young squad together, and they grew into what they grew into. Yeah. We're getting a young squad together now, and I think this is exactly what the plan is going forward.
Brad, I think it's very, very similar to Pochettino's Tottenham. Very, very similar. That team spirit you can see there. You can see they enjoy each other's company. And as for the question of, give them a break. Go home to
Oh,
their
yeah,
family.
a great question. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, fine. Give them 4 days to go and be with their families. And I think Dermot made the point. They'll appreciate it, other than sort of shipping them on a plane for 4 days to some hot country and then shipping them back again. They're going to, now you're saying, look, have 4 days off, be with your families, your kids, whatever, your dogs, your cats, and enjoy it. Thanks for what you've been doing. And they'll appreciate it. I've always said that no matter what job you're in, if your boss or manager's good to you, you're going to try your best for them. So I think it's a really good idea, definitely.
Absolutely spot on. I agree with the decision personally as well. Brad, blue sofa songs and new songs up?
Not at the moment. I'm sort of I'm taking a bit of a break at the moment. There's a Christmas one is up. There's 40 odd songs on there, so there's enough for people if they're new to the channel to have a look at what I do. But I'm taking a bit of a break. I'm going to have a song out in February. I'm trying to learn a bit more about mixing and that sort of stuff and videos and that sort of thing. So and trying to write a better song effectively. So there'll be something in February. But there's a lot on there. Please click like, subscribe, share, do all the nice things. Leave a comment if you want. I take criticism if it's fair criticism. I take everything on board. Please subscribe and subscribe to. I never get this right. Yeah, subscribe to David and Jack and their channel and anyone else that's on here. We, as I say every week, we're all supportive of each other. It's a great community. So what more can be said? But it's gonna be weird this week with no football. But at least I won't have any. At least I won't get any nerves this week. So
you know what? In that regard, it'd be nice to take a week off. Actually, not having that sort of pressure. Because if the players feel the pressure week in, week out to get the results where we are, we obviously feel it too. So it's good in that regard. But Brad, we've got AFCON. We've got the Sunny in a couple of games to be able to look
I saw. South Korea won 3-1. I think Son played the whole game. Senegal, I'm not sure what the score was there, but I'm not sure.
I couldn't have 3-0, I think.
Right. I'm not sure if Sarr played, but because Sky Sports haven't got it on for some strange reason. But
no, he didn't play. He didn't play at all.
He didn't play. Right. Which is in a way it's a good thing because it means he's safe from getting injured. So, or maybe maybe Sky's carrying an injury from the game against Bournemouth when he limped off. So. Maybe she's not quite fully fit. But,
Look, I don't know why he didn't start anything like that, but we'll wait and see. But Brad, big yourself up, my man. Great conversation. Really enjoyed your time this evening.
As I said,
go and watch whatever on the telly and have a good evening.
As I said to Jack last week, look forward to seeing you over here at some stage again one day. So when
not London Derby, Brad.
Oh wow! Well, let me sorry. That's April. It'll be better weather then as well. To annoy me, I'm freezing my cock off here. So
I think we all are, Brad. It's that time of the year, isn't it, my man? It's that time of the year. Oh, but look, Brad, we'll let you go, my man. Hopefully, go and have a cup of tea and warm up, and we speak again soon. All right.
Yes, David. Take care. Have a good week.
See you, Brad. Have a good evening, my man.
Right, everyone.
Big up. Everyone, please get across and show Brad love on his channel. He's a guy out there trying to create his own music. I'm not involved in the music industry or anything like that, but you speak to a lot of solo artists and people like that. It's a very hard thing to do. It's not easy, especially making yourself vulnerable and put your content out there, your songs out there. So make sure you get across and smash the subscribe because Brad is an absolute awesome guy and a good friend of mine. The channels and everybody else is in the chat, so make sure you show him that love. Ugly Fisher, sadly, the one guy who needs a holiday son is going to be working his socks off. Yeah, he will be. Yeah, unfortunately. And cheers, Mr. Irish. E.T. all come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, my man. But look, we'll keep this moving because with the next guest we've got is Donovan Oosterreicher, and I know he wants to get in there and pump out some weights in the gym, so get him on. Let's hear what he has to say. Big up, Donovan. Good evening, sir. How are you keeping?
Hey, good to see you again, Dave.
Not too bad. Look, we'll start with the name and your title. You call it Turbo Time. What do you make of his debut yesterday?
Yeah, also underneath there it says, never fall in love with a lone player, mate. Like, I'm going to have to tell myself that because the lad's absolutely class. He uses it, and you can tell he's media trained. You can tell he's a good lad. I haven't met a German guy bloke that I haven't, appreciated.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too into it, like because it's his first game, and his past does like precede him. But you can tell he's got a football brain. You can tell he's got IQ. You know, some of that passing, the dynamic, the vision, is something that Johnson kind of lacks on the other side. So I have high hopes for him, but I'm not going to get too attached in case we don't sign him permanently. So.
Do you know what, for me, Donovan? I thought he done all right for a guy making his debut, you know, sort of just being thrusted straight in there, no times to really adjust to the tactics or anything really like that. Just thrust to stay in. I thought he done all right. What I do like that he offers is he keeps the weight, offers us a genuine sort of threat in behind. You get the ball out to him. Players are already initially backing off because of the pace he possesses, which opens up a bit of space for us. But my biggest critic of the deal was his finishing, you know, and that's what I think we really need at this squad. Someone to come in, especially in the forward area, and be clinical. I think that's something we really miss when Son is not available. Do you think that finishing aspect of his will improve? Because, right, the thing is, we know he has it in him from his first spell at Leipzig, but for a number of years it hasn't been there. Can he get back?
Well, that's really well said, Dave. I'll counter that to like the confidence issue. You know, like he's a world-class athlete. You can tell he's got pace to burn for days. Like you said, he has a presence just on the pitch alone. But you take back to the human character, and that's what Postecoglou like goes after first and foremost, right? Is that you have to be a good person. Oh, are you still there, dude? I'm a bit late. I don't know, but anyway, his confidence, you can tell, is a bit shattered right now. You know, you look at Richie, he's hitting goals now. He's at 6 and 6. But how many games did it take him to get to that? What, he's 20 games into the season right now? So it took him maybe a month to 2 months just to be able to hit the back of the net. And now maybe another 4 or 5 weeks, and now he's starting to hit his stride. You see a clip of Werner trying to walk into Old Trafford before the game, and you can tell that he puts his chest out and he's trying to walk with some swagger, and then immediately checks himself. He's second guessing himself on and off the pitch, you know. So once he gets that confidence back, and you get somebody like Postecoglou into your ears, mate, hey, don't worry about it. Have another go. Whether it's just a stopgap, whether it's just I need you until someone's back, you have to get behind this guy because it's clear to see. I'm looking at some of his passes where he draws Dallo and Evans right out of the play. He brings them to him about 10, 15 yards. Then he makes the play. You don't see somebody like Johnson or Gale doing that because in their mind they're one-dimensional. They can link up the play. They can do a 1-2. They rely on a system. Where somebody like Werner, somebody like Son, those players have the ability to see 1 or 2 passes ahead. And that's something that if we can harness that, like you said, get that confidence back up, maybe we're going to have another 10, 15 goals off that left side.
Do you know what? I really do hope, son. Do you know what, Donovan? I'll trust your judgment on it. And look, I think you raised a very good point. Give him a couple of weeks under Postecoglou. You know, could he do what Richarlison has maybe done? Look at the renaissance that guy has had. So I think you sort of raised a very good point in that regard. Also, look, we got a brief glimpse of Dragushin, right? You know, he's sort of a couple of nice passes here and there. What do you make of what we've seen of him so far?
Oh, I'm gonna get slated in the comments for this one. You know, it's great to have him on. You know, it's great to have. Romero was the best defender in Serie A, and we got Dragushin, who's arguably the next step up, the next best thing coming out of Italy. But to come on in the 80th, 85th minute at Old Trafford with that atmosphere, with that game on the line, and to lose your marker, the first defensive cross in the box, you know, like he was nowhere to be found when Tomlin had come in. So, you know, there's pick your battles, pick your times. The guy's young; he's gonna have lots of game time ahead of him. But yeah, I'm excited that we have somebody other than Dyer, you know, at the back line. I mean, that's just an upgrade, you know. So I don't want to take the easy route out and slate like we had before, but to have another prospect to pick from, I mean, there's nothing negative to say about that.
Look, I'm just delighted to have someone else in here that I don't have to really worry about the centre-back position anymore. It was causing me a great deal of stress, sleepless nights, and everything else like that. So, you know, I really do hope that Dragushin can sort of fulfill his potential. Donovan, What do you make of the sort of overall result yesterday? Are you happy, man, walking away from that? You know, I know you're very pumped up before the game. You know, were you deflated walking away from it? What's your overall riding thoughts coming out of the game?
All right, again, hey, it's a game of thought, right? I mean, if you want to go for the title, it's 2 points dropped. If you want to get a top four, then it's a good result, right? So the way I look at it is that if we had Kulusevski available and we had Matters and we had Sonny, you know, then we need to get those 3 points. If I could touch on Skip and Højbjerg in the midfield, like they did their job. If you look at it, that's the squad. You know, if you want to go out and get a job done, and you could argue that getting a point at Old Trafford is job done, that's the squad you need. You need assurance in the midfield. You know that Eriksen's not going to body anyone. You know that Bruno Fernandes is going to be lazy. So Mainu is the only player on that pitch on the United side that's going to try and cover ground. So you get 2 solid number 6s that can bully them and dominate that space. Yeah, that's the job well done. You're not going to ever get a Skip that can pick out, you know, an Eriksen type pass. You know, Højbjerg is getting better at bouncing the ball, but at the end of the day, you got 2 Premier League quality 6s that can recycle possession. And when the heat is on, their instinct is to defend that back 4 rather than create for the front 3. So you can't really slate them at the end of the day, you know. If anything, it just proves that Bentancur is on the rise again. I think what we saw under Antonio Conte was only a glimpse. I think there's a world-class player in there that's going to even emerge. The fact that he came back from 2 career injuries, man, like not just like season injuries. Some players don't ever come back from those at that level, and they still got levels to go to. Like, I'm so proud of the boys. The only kind of negative I would say, though, is that I don't know if it was a lack of belief or a lack of stardom on the pitch. Sometimes you need the players like Madison and Son on there. But when you're up, when you're 1-1, when you've worked out how to get back in the game, or it's 2-2, and United on the back foot, it just seemed to me that neither team wanted to go and win that game. Neither team in the last 20 minutes, they're cagey. Nobody wanted to put a foot wrong, you know. So in those moments, I'd like us to go out and push for that winner. If we lose 3-2, we lose 3-2. You know, Postecoglou will take the blame for that. But yeah, I'm waffling now. But I think it's a point game, man. Last year we only got 1 point against these guys. Now we got 3 extra. So you know that's a win in my books.
Yeah, no, look, I think you're spot on. You know, it's a much improvement on last season, and you know, look, if we want to get top 4, even if we want to get in the title race, you know, I think you know, you have to be picking up these points. You just can't lose them, right? If you're not at your best, you just don't lose them. That's the sort of number 1 rule. And I think you make a great point. If your aspirations are a title, it's probably 2 points drop. If your aspirations are top 4, you'd probably say 1 point game. I think that was actually very, very well put. Donovan, maybe last question I've got for you, my man. It's been an absolutely brilliant chat, by the way. We need to have a chat when you're not in a rush or going to the gym or something like that, and you have more time to come and speak to us, brother. But what do you make of Postecoglou's decision not to send the players on warm sort of weather training like most other clubs have used this period to do, but give them a rest?
Yeah, that's the first I'm hearing about it, actually. So kudos to you guys for news updates. I'm with it. You know, I mean, if we were to have looked as bad as we did against Burnley and didn't have a response, I think I would have been a bit more critical. But you look at the overall quality of the squad, right? I mean, we're running on fumes. You know, I don't have to list all the players we don't have. We don't play for another 9-10 days. Yeah, give them 5 days to come back. I'm hoping Madison's going to make a surprise appearance again. Rest up those injuries. You saw Van cramping up. I have no problem with it. You look at the top 4 race, like the title race, there's only 3 or 4 teams in this league that play a system, like an actual good system of football where you go out, you can see the target, you can see how they play, you can see that there's a start, a middle, and an end goal. These teams like Chelsea and United and Newcastle and West Ham, you know, there's no synergy, there's nothing. And so the players, the fact that they got this tactics and these instructions down so early is a credit to Postecoglou, a credit to the mentality of the squad. And I trust Ange. If he tells him to go and take a break, he'll take him a break. Likewise, if Ange were to say, no, man, you're going to work another 72 hours this week, you're going to put in the work in the gym, I have no problem that these players would have adapted to that. So the fact that they're listening to him is just a big praise to the whole squad, man.
Do you know what? I also think it's the right decision, right? Rather than put them on the more strenuous sessions and stuff like that, give them a little sport breather, a chance to recover, give you a chance to get other players back as well, and then get back before the Man City game, have a full week of good preparation in there. But I do like the fact that Postecoglou has sort of got a bit different to what most other clubs' approach has been. Like, you look at Mikel Arteta, he's brought his Arsenal squad out to Dubai, I believe. And I just think with the way things are going and stuff like right now with Arsenal, I think, they could probably do it a little break from each other. I think he's made the wrong decision there personally to bring them all out there. I think it could end up just creating a bit of chaos for himself, because I don't think them players are really responding to him as much anymore as once they were. But Donovan, big yourself up, my man. Great chat. Great to have you back. Great to see you as well. Look, let me know whenever you're free and you want to come on and have a conversation. We'll have a conversation more in depth about things. Really enjoyed this chat, my man.
Cheers, man. Yeah, no, if I could touch on one thing, like Arsenal, yeah, what a weirdo. He's just a weirdo, Arteta. Right? He doesn't relate to average footballer. Like, you see a video of him, it's a disgrace. No, but you see him at Salt Bay eating steak, being absolute weirdo, and the stuff that's coming out of his training camp, like his methods. I don't know, man. I think he's trying to overcompensate for the lack of actual leadership that he does possess. But no, dude, it's been great, man. It's been great, man. I'll try and get on more often. Yeah, you're right. I'm taking a break at the gym. I'm just in the sauna right now. So,
lucky man. I'm jealous. Like, sauna would be nice, especially with how cold I am this evening, my man. But look, we'll let you go, brother. Go and enjoy what's left of your gym and that and your routine, and we'll speak again very, very soon. All right?
Yeah, big up. We'll talk about the Man City game next week, man. I'm looking forward to it.
No, we definitely will, lad. We'll have a good conversation about that. So we will. But if you've got my number, man, drop me a message. All right?
Yes, sir. I'll give you a DM on Instagram. We'll connect there or something, and then we'll get on WhatsApp or whatever.
Yeah, perfect. Right, I'll let you go. You go on, Jim, on, my man. You're putting all of us to shame, and we'll see you again soon.
Come on,
lad. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up. Great chat with Donovan Oysterreicher from a great country as well, with Canada. Dying to see that country. Absolutely brilliant. Messi FIFA Player of the Year, Joe, probably because he won the World Cup. No, it was that last year. Can't even remember at this point coming in that quickly. Arteta and Scott paying the ball. I mean, just disgraceful, what he's doing. Arteta, he wants to become a social media person. You probably see him on Love Island next. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it is. Also, big up Chris as well. He's a new member. He's been around for quite some time. I think he's just sort of resurfacing, grabbing that membership. Big up Chris. Really appreciate the support, my brother, and really good to see you as well. It's been a while, my man. I've missed you. I need that humor sometimes, Chris. But look, we will keep this moving on, guys. We've got people waiting in the back end for ages and ages, longer than what I intended to happen. So we'll keep cracking on with them just quickly. He phones us, so Dave, what's the point of keeping Lo Celso here? Just need someone capable to do a job. Look, I don't want to keep Lo Celso here, my man. I've always argued about keeping him here. First of all, I don't like the fact that we've had to wait 4 years for any sort of standard of performance. But like you said, he's always injured as well. So I definitely wouldn't keep him here, my man. I'm not in that camp whatsoever. I think he needs to be moved on in the summer. I understand why he's been kept around so far this season, but he will have to be shipped on, in my opinion. But look, let's keep this moving. We've still got lots of guests to talk to speak to. And the next guest, let's bring him on. He shares the same enthusiasm for the academy as I do. His name is Shawnee Malik. Let's get him on and hear how he is. Shawnee, how are you keeping, sir?
I'm doing well. Again, I think last time it was just Jack, so we get our conversation.
Yeah. Just Jack last week. Now it's just me, my man. You're getting the best sport word, Shawnee. But look, Shawnee, where are you at after yesterday's game? What was your overriding thoughts coming out of it?
I think I feel like I was frustrated after the game, but again, a little bit of time passes, and I'm not as frustrated. Again, I think I'm relatively happy with the performance given a few of the big absentees. Again, Kulu last minute absentee with that illness. And again, I think he was a player we missed as we didn't have that kind of quality in the midfield. Again, my biggest frustration has been kind of the lack of work off the ball by some of the team. Again, I think Johnson is not doing enough defensively. But again, with Kulu out, you don't have an option really too much given kind of the absentees, especially with Ange not being fully on board with Hill. And again, I think Hill's pressing isn't quite good enough either. So I don't think we see quite enough out of him, although he has been really good off the bench to kind of give some energy late game. So again, I feel like given that we were missing a few key players that obviously probably was not planned for, it went well. Again, no one came off the field injured. We had Mickey Van de Ven with that cramp scare. But again, he seemed to be when I saw him kind of walking off the field when he was being subbed, I wasn't as worried anymore. At that point, I was like, okay, if it was a real kind of aggravated muscle thing, he wouldn't be able to walk on it quite as easy.
Well, Chelsea had to be carried off by the physios, didn't he? He had the arms around both of them, sort of being hobbled up. So, look, maybe it alleviated my face, but sorry, I had a bit of water and it completely went down the wrong way, and it's absolutely startled me, my man. But look, when it comes to Van de Ven, look, my initial thoughts when I first seen him go down and he's walking, limping around a little bit after, I was like, oh no, he's done it again. You know, I was really concerned. But just on Brennan Johnson, Sean, I was thinking about this last night, and for me, he's had a good run in the team now, but he's not producing. And a lot of people, when it comes to Brian Hill, straight away, it's just like, get rid of him, right? And you know, they've always thrown that big money sort of price, what we've paid for Brian Hill and Lamela. But again, you know, I don't think it's his fault. When you're paying for young players, you're paying for the potential, right? But he's never had the run in the team that Gil Messi has had. The same run. They're the same age, but Gil Messi is already written off compared to Brennan Johnson. But despite not really being given a chance at this football club, I'm actually at the point where I'd give Gil Messi a run in the team over Brennan Johnson at this moment in time, just to see if he can do any better. Would you subscribe to that, or do you disagree?
I think it depends a little bit on the game. There's against a more open, expansive team, I think you get a little bit more out of Johnson. Like, again, in that City game, I would prefer Johnson, as I would like to be attacking more with that pace. But most of the time, again, I think he just hasn't quite been good enough that I would sit him on the bench, go in at 60 minutes against some tired legs, and just tell him to run as fast as he can at that defender. And I think that's what we haven't seen enough from any of our wingers, is just running at that defender and taking him off. Like, once Basaka was on a yellow, I wanted him to double up running at Wan Basaka. Either make him make a challenge or make him back off and take that space.
He was also playing on the wrong side, right? He was playing on the left-hand side, so it should have been even more incentive for him to drive at him, right?
And again, I think that's been the frustration, is none of our wingers, other than Son when he was playing on the wing, have been doing as much. Although what I will say is, again, I think at halftime, Ange gave a bit of a talk, and we did see Timo starting to run at his player a bit more. And again, I actually think that it was weird because there was a lot of criticism after the game that I felt was a little undeserved. Again, he missed a chance on goal a bit wide, but he had the assist. He was positive. He was laying in good balls that could have been dangerous had our front or the other players made a slightly more better decision when they were on the ball. So again, I think he was actually. Sorry,
just quickly on Bernard, though. Are you concerned about the finishing, though, right? Because that was everyone's big question mark with bringing him in here. Yesterday, the first shot ended up in Coronation Street. You know, and the second shot was off target, even though he had so much time to set himself, and he should be hitting the target. Is that a concern of yours going forward with Werner?
It's his first game. I'm not going to make decisions. He's been here a few days, probably still jet lag getting off the plane a little bit. I think we need to give him a bit of time before we start really piling in. He needs to build his confidence up. And again, he was really positive. He created some good chances. And again, he had the assist for the goal. Again, you want some finishing, but no one else has been finishing on the wings. So why are we suddenly putting all of the pressure on him when we should also be like, hey, Johnson, why didn't you put anything away against Burnley? So again, I think we want to at least be consistent with the standard we're putting out there.
Do you know, I think that's absolutely fair. And in fairness to Timo Werner, if you don't score, the next best thing's an assist, right? And he came out with that. But Brennan Johnson, he hasn't, and he's had a lot more opportunities. He's just absolutely piss poor. Look, absolutely great summary. What about the forward? What about Richarlison as well? What do you make of his performance? You know, he's a guy that takes a lot of heat off Spurs fans. What do you make of how he's answered it this season?
I mean, again, I think I've been yelling constantly trying to defend him all season, especially after a little bit of a slow start. But again, he's creating goal involvements. He's not Harry Kane. He's never going to be Harry Kane. But that's fine. We didn't buy him to be Harry Kane. Again, he's been contributing to the team. And again, he had a really good game. And I think what we aren't giving enough credit for is he is running back and putting in tackles and stopping chances as a center forward. We're not seeing that from Johnson and some of the other guys. Our midfielders, like Højbjerg, wasn't putting in enough tackles yesterday, and he never stops running. I don't see how you can be mad at his effort and output. Again, when he was missing chances and nothing would go in for him, I could see the frustration there. But he's got it sorted out. He's hitting the back of the net. And again, his defensive work rate has probably saved us 2 goals at least this season in games. So we've won on a 1-goal margin. He's getting us points, which enough of our players have not been stepping up.
You know what? I think that's an absolute great story. I think you're absolutely spot on there. It gets us points where others haven't. And I think others, for instance, like Johnson, right, gets a lot more protection than what Richarlison does. But yet Richarlison is the one scoring goals, and he seems to get a lot more hit than what Johnson does. I don't really understand it, you know, especially since he's our most informed forward. Look, I think it was his best game in the Tottenham jersey yesterday. I think he needs to reach that level a lot more if he can going forward to maybe convince Spurs fans that he is the answer going forward. Put a figure on it. How many goals do you think he needs to hit to maybe give Spurs fans confidence that he can do this?
I mean, I think 15 goal involvements is a pretty good start. Again, ultimately, you want a forward that can bang in about 20 at this level. But again, he's coming back off of an injury and some off the field issues. And if he can be converting 15 goals or, I don't know, and a handful of assists, he's done about as well as I think we would have expected. And again, that's on top of all this off the ball work. Again, he's the best presser in our team by far. And he's running back and making challenges at our 18, just in front of you.
You mentioned the press there, and I absolutely agree with you. Whenever I look at Richarlison, he's always the first one to go and trigger that press. Why do you think it's not as effective as it was in the first 10 games? Because I feel like he goes, but I don't feel like other people go with him now. I think they're more hesitant to sort of go with him. How do we get that intense press that served us well in the first 10 games back? Because I feel sorry for Richarlison at times when he goes to do it and no one else goes with him.
I mean, I think a lot of it starts at sorting out that midfield. Because a lot of the times what we'll see is But again, Johnson is not pressing quite enough. But what we'll see is that midfield is late to step up into that space, which means the defense can't push up, and they're breaking out. So I think it's if we can get that midfield balance a bit better so that they're working and really pressing, it means that once you see kind of the forwards running at them, we essentially are cutting off that next or that mid-range ball, which we haven't been. Because that's where we're getting played through a lot of the times is the midfield will be slow. The guy will have too much time to receive and look for that next pass. So it's that second phase of the press that we're not on top of. But I do want to actually give, while I'm talking about midfield and pressing, I want to give Skip a little bit of credit. That was the best game I've seen him play probably since his injury.
I agree.
He started a little slow, and I was complaining about him running around like a headless chicken. But again, he seemed to figure out what he was doing. He played a few decent passes, but he was also up there running and putting that press in. He deflected one or two that could have started a counterattack. But again, the problem there is consistency. 4 bad games and 1 good game is not enough for this level.
Yeah.
We need 4 good games and 1 bad game or 1 okay game.
And that's his biggest problem, right? You know, in order to cut at this level is the consistency. And I just don't think that's there with the kid. When you put Ollie Skip out there, my biggest problem is I don't know what I'm going to get from the guy, you know. And if I don't know what I'm going to get, and the fans don't know what they're going to get, imagine what Postecoglou feels when he puts them out there. So for me, you know, he just hasn't grasped the opportunities, and he's had a number of them since that long-term injury that he's had. And he just hasn't really sort of grasped any of the opportunities handed to him. Look, I don't think he's going to make it at Spurs. I think somewhere along the line we're going to cash in on him, but he's still got time to try and save himself. It's up to him where he wants to take it. Johnny, my man, anything else you want to talk about before we let you go, brother?
All right, just a few more points on kind of the midfield. Yep. Again, I think for Skip, he needs to go on a loan to a slightly lower level where he's guaranteed minutes to develop. And we need to bring in someone who can play in that 6 role a little bit. I'd like to push Bentancur a little bit higher because he's so good on that ball and in those attacking areas. Because when Bissouma was playing well, again, he would have been potentially closer to that 6. What we wanted was someone to come in, make crunching tackles, and dominate that space. And we haven't had that. So I think that's what we need in January. Again, I think that, like you said, is that mobility is important, but we want someone who's going to come flying in like Romero level of aggression to a degree, maybe, who can come in and just make crunching tackles and really provide protection to that back line. Because that's where I think, lost that, or I drew that game. I kind of still feel a little bit of a loss because I think we could have gone on to win it had we been playing a little better. But again, I think it was just we don't have that presence in midfield. And again, Bissouma was that for 10 games, and then he just was not close to the level that he was playing at. So again, I think that's a position we need to strengthen if we want to make this top 4 push.
Yeah, look, I definitely think a midfielder is definitely sort of needed to come in here. We need more reinforcements in that department, whether it's an 8, whether it's a 6. I mean, there's a lot of debate around it, you know, right now. And so some saying a 6, some saying an 8, some even saying we need backup to Maddison in the creative role. Look, for me, I just, like you said, Sean, I think the most important thing is make sure he's got the engine and the mobility to get around, you know, decent technical level. I think, you know, he'll find himself very quickly. One player I'd love to bring is Kefram Touram from, who was at Nice when we played them last season in the friendly against Antonio Conte. Absolutely destroyed our midfield. I've been keeping a bit of an eye on him since, and he's a very good player. I'd love to bring him in here, Sean. You have a look at him if you get a chance.
I'll have to take a look. Again, I think my immediate suggestion, if we can't quite find the right player, go talk to Man City and see if they'll loan out Calvin Phillips.
I don't want him. I do not want him anywhere near the football club.
I think he's got enough thing that on a short-term loan, if we can't get the right player in, because we need reinforcements. Højbjerg isn't playing consistently enough. Again, he has some great passes, and then he gives the ball away with no pressure. And again, that's a problem. We have no consistency in that midfield. So we need to get some options in there.
Yeah, we definitely do, especially with the amount of injuries we carried in there. Players now away, you know, we could really do it a couple right now in the door for the next little period. Absolutely spot on. But Sean, great chatting to you as well, my man. Just quickly, did you get to watch the under-21s against Southampton by any chance?
I didn't see the game. I saw the highlights. Again, it's weird with the under-21s especially, because as the best players start getting loans and getting out, the quality drops just a little bit. So again, I think what you're seeing is we're still winning games. I think I've seen like 3 score lines that we won, like 3-2 last-minute winners in a few games. But it's a challenge to kind of maintain, because again, as players get better, you push them into the first team setup and such, so they're out of those games. But again, the production line is looking strong, so we just got to keep plugging away. But again, we need to get those guys on the field. They were all on the bench last game, and then Ange didn't use too many of them, which was a little disappointing there.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to want to either. I don't know why. You know, sometimes I would have rather part of them than other individuals. But look, it is what it is, I suppose.
That was the interesting thing, is because you get Plymouth man of the match, Phillips, and it's like, okay, he can go in and do a job at a professional level, and we're subbing Dyer off the bench. Like, we could have probably gotten at least the same level, if not more, out of Phillips. But at least, you know, we're getting some of those guys on loans. If Ange won't play them, at least get them minutes. So hopefully they're that much better for next season.
Yeah, look, I think with Phillips, look, if Ange wasn't going to use him this season, the right thing is to loan him out so you don't stagnate his progress. However, I agree with you, you know, and to my point, you know, he cut it for Plymouth Argyle. He was trusted when they've got even more on the stake. You know, they're in the relegation battle to stay in the championship. They trusted him, and they trusted him in beside a new signing at the weekend, and they got their awards and came out smelling the roses and with lots of praise. So, you know, I agree with you. I would have much rather seen him off the bench than Eric Dyer at times. But look, it is what it is, Shawnee. But Shawnee, great chat to you, my man. We'll speak again very soon. Just to let you know, under 18s for an FAU Cup action tomorrow night if you want to watch that. So pick yourself up, Shawnee. We'll speak again soon.
All right, take care.
See you, Shawnee. Big up, my man. Everybody, big up Shawnee Mannix. Love speaking to him. I love his enthusiasm for the academy, like I have, and some great conversations there on Richarlison and Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson and stuff like that as well. Absolutely great guy. Just quickly, Ugly Fish says, what do you think of João Gomez? I'll be honest, I haven't really seen too much of them. Wolves are a team that sort of bore me, to be honest with you. I sort of skip over a lot of their highlights when they're on Match of the Day and stuff like that. What I'll do is when Jack goes back, I'll get him to give you what his thoughts are on João Gomez. For me, I'm not quite sure it's going to happen. I don't think we will pick up a midfielder off a Premier League club. I think it's clear that the club are trying to work on bringing a homegrown option in here. But I don't think they're going to pay the money that's going to be required to get a midfielder out of a Premier League club who also, you know, need improvement. So whatever they will need to line up, they're going to look for that money. Spurs to pay for the next deal. It's the way the January transfer window works. Personally, I think you should be looking at more abroad, maybe the Championship. I think we'll be looking to bring one of them players in instead. João Gomez, it's an interesting rumour. I just don't see it happening. Maybe our next guest, Ellie, might know a bit more about him. Let's bring her on. Let's see if she knows a bit more about João Gomez. If not, we've got Michael, we've got KPV, we've got Rufus. I'm sure one of them will know a bit more about him. But let's bring on Ellie and hear what she has to say. Good evening, Ellie.
Hello, Dave. You're right. You're okay,
yeah, not
mate?
too bad. And you?
Yeah. No, I haven't got a sausage about him. I don't know about him, but You know, I'll research him after this though. The one player I would love to get is Paulinho though. I love him because he reminds me of Højbjerg, but when Højbjerg first came under Mourinho, yeah, because Højbjerg's got a little bit older now. He's 3 years older, isn't he? So he's slowed down a bit. But this guy, I think he's a monster in midfield, and he wins the ball so much for Fulham. And Fulham are fantastic at pressing. I watched him against Liverpool. I like him. I like him a lot because I like that type of player. You know, me and you, we like the shithousery players.
Yeah. do you know what, Ellie?
That's
One
why
thing
I'm
I'll
on
give that
Richie's
guy.
side as well.
One thing I'll give that guy, Paulinho, anytime I watch him in the big games, he always turns up, and that's a sign of a very good player. Never goes hiding them. For me, look, I'd absolutely love to bring him in here, Ellie. I'm just not sure Spurs will start. Look, I want to know what was the rumored fee with Bayern Munich in the summer. Can we maybe put that forward? But the thing is, if you're buying off Fulham, they're going to put a tax on them, so it's going to be even more. So I think that probably prices us out the market. But I would absolutely love him. But Ellie, I want to know what you make of yesterday's game. Just bear with me 1 minute. I'm just turning off my camera so I can open my fridge next to me and grab a bottle of water. And I'll be back in 1 second. But let me know what your thoughts are on yesterday's game because I can still hear you.
Yeah, I thought we dominated the play. We had patterns of play that are superior to Man United. We moved the ball very well. The midfield didn't let us down one iota. I thought they played really well together. None of those three in midfield, but obviously Bentancur is different gravy, isn't he? He's like a Rolls Royce, a silver shadow Rolls Royce, ghosting in and scoring that fantastic goal as well. What a brilliant goal he scored. And he gelled everything together. The defence played very well for the most part. The first half was a little bit shaky. I thought Romero should have not put his hands behind his back on a couple of occasions because it puts you off balance, doesn't it, Dave? So I thought we could have handled Rashford and Højlund a little bit better because they were getting at us a little bit in that first half. But we still dominated the play in that first half as well. Although we did create some good chances, they weren't like clear cut. But the second half, we cranked it up a bit. You know, we turned a bit of the fire on, you know, and then Bentancur came into his own. What a player. I think we haven't even seen the best of him yet because against Aston Villa, I think that was the best of him. I think that was his best half hour because he was pulling the strings. But this game, he was in and out of the game. He wasn't like dominating the whole midfield. But the things that he did were absolutely sublime. And I think his movement off the ball is a lot under the radar, you know, because part of football, as you know, Dave, it's not what you do on the ball, it's what you do off the ball as well. And when you're at the match, you see more of it. So, yeah, our hats off to Bentancur coming back from a major injury as well and putting in a performance like that reminded me a little bit like Dembele, you know, when we beat them up there, you know, and he dominated the midfield that day. That's how I was going to pull up Dermatron because we have dominated there. We dominated there twice when we beat them 3-2 and we beat
6-1.
them 3-0. Actually, we dominated when we beat them 6-1 as well.
Yeah,
so
three times.
We've had a good shout at Man United's ground in recent years. So I wasn't surprised. I'm a bit disappointed that it was a draw, though. I'm really disappointed because we had it in us to win the match, and we took our foot off the lever a little bit at the end, didn't we?
Yeah,
it's a shame.
We did. I found myself very frustrated with the final 25 minutes. I don't think we created an awful lot. I think we looked sort of a bit cautious, almost like we were happy to get away with a point, which I can understand. Look, you know, Bentancur, I know he lasted 90 minutes, but the last couple of games he was pulled off for it because he's not up to 90 minutes standard yet. So we asked a big shift from him. Adoji skipped, sick during the week, you know, like Kulu, who missed the game. So big ask 90 minutes sort of out of them guys as well. So I think at that point, maybe they were probably just sort of happy to try to get away out of there with the draw and unscathed. But I'm with you. I am a bit disappointed that maybe we didn't go on and push on because I did feel that United were there for the taking, especially in the second half when Bentancur got straight back into it just after half time. But look, we take the point and we move on. But Ellie, one thing you brought up, I do want to maybe ask you a little bit more on. is this hands behind the back defending. I mean, it drives me mad, and it's only been brought in
I know.
because VAR. Players are afraid to try and put their body, like, do you know when you go to block a ball, your arms will come out and stuff like that? They're afraid to do that now because it will be given as a penalty. Does that need to be looked at this summer to change the rule? Because it's not natural looking at it. You know, it's like asking them to play volleyball with their handcuffs behind their back. It's impossible.
Yeah, because football's a beautiful sport, right? It's not just about attacking play. The defending is a very hard skill to master. You know, we've seen defenders down the years that have defended so brilliantly, and they weren't scared of handball because there wasn't these stupid rules that they bring in, you know. So I just think, just defend for your life. Go for the ball. And if it hits your arm, you know, it hits your arm. What can you do? You know, as long as you've got it in a natural position, you don't have to flap your arms out. Yeah, because you can still keep your balance with your arms. But actually, you keep more of your balance if you keep them closer to your body, I think. Right. And I was very disappointed. I was a bit disappointed in that aspect of the game from all teams, not just our defenders. I've seen all defenders do it. And I screamed.
Because also you can't.
So take your hands behind your back, for God's sake.
Yeah, it drives me absolutely insane. Because also, when you've got your hands behind your back, you can't extend your body as much as you would when you're moving your arms, sort of extending your body. And I do feel like if the players didn't have their hands behind the back, one of them would have got a block on, especially Hoyland's effort, you know. But look, I take your point. It drives me absolutely.
I'm telling you, Dave, my telly's on borrowed time. I'm going to smash it one day when I see something like
Ellie,
that.
what do you make of what do you make of the elbow on Højbjerg by Johnny Evans? Do you think he got away with one there?
I think he got away with one. I heard other people saying he didn't mean it. I think he meant it. I think he was. Højbjerg's a bit of a shit ass, you know. He'll get in people's faces. You saw it with Declan Rice when he was at West Ham. He goes, "Nobody likes you." So I think nobody likes you, Declan Rice. You know what I mean? And now you've got the Lagooners. We hate you even more, right? So I just think he landed one on him because Højbjerg can give it to him. You know, he talks a lot in other players' ears. He's got a shithousery about him. So I just thought it was dirty because he put his elbow up and he pushed it. Like, if you put your elbow out and you're like accidentally do it, you don't do it like that. He actually pushed it towards his face. So luckily, Højbjerg's professional and he didn't want to get the player sent off because it was what's his name?
I'm surprised he didn't make more of it though, Ellie.
You know what? He's a professional player and he's a decent bloke, right? He's a decent bloke. He's honest, right? I just thought he probably thought he caught me. If I reckon if he thought that he really intentionally did it, he would have said something about it. But maybe in his mind, he thought he didn't intend. But on the telly, when they replayed it, it looked like he went like that, didn't he? To him, he pushed it in his face. But do you know what? These things happen in football, and you just got to be professional. So if he reacted right, and he did the same back to him, he probably would have got sent off rather than Johnny Evans. You know, so I'm glad that he didn't react in a way.
True.
He's a Viking, isn't he?
do you know what? I'll be honest. I would have loved him. I think because of the nature of the man sort of that he is, I think he didn't make a big deal of it. But however, I think for Tottenham's sake, he should have brought a lot more attention to it and tried to maybe get him sent off. It sort of maybe changes the game in that regard. But Ellie, one thing I do want to have a discussion is that Postecoglou, despite whatever injuries we have, players missing and all that sort of jazz, no matter what lineup he puts out, they still play his football. They still manage to grind out results. What do you put that down to?
I put that down to respect of the manager. They respect him a lot. They like him. They want to play for him. And also the team camaraderie, it's there. You see it when they're training. You see it when they're coming into the training ground as well. They've got a very good bond together, you know. And I like what I see. And, you know, they're all honest players. They all want to do well because everybody didn't give us a chance this season. Not many teams outside our own club would think we'll be 4th or 5th at this stage of the season with so many injuries as well, Dave. We've been knocked for six with key players. That's the main thing, is key players who are vital to your team for you to get those victories. Because with Maddison, we would have won that game. 100% we would have won it, because he would have created that special chance that no one can miss. You know, he puts it on a nutshell for you. We did quite a lot of good balls. You know, we had a good vision from the midfield. Even Skippy, he done one fabulous ball to Werner. Brilliant. What a ball. You know, you've got to give him credit.
Ellie in her prime, eh?
Yeah, you know what I mean? He did that in the Championship for Norwich. I was seeing him. He was spraying balls left, right and centre. But for us, he's been underwhelming. So it's nice to see that he's got this game under his belt. Now go and do another one, Skip. And then do another one. You know, don't, like Sean said, you can't have 4 bad games and 1, like decent game or bad game. You've got to flip it the other way. 4 really good games and 1 sort of average game, you know. But ideally, we want 10 good games, you know, in one stretch. Like we've got 18 games left or 17 games left, something like that, isn't it? Yeah. So let's
18,
go strong for the end of the season, and let's see where we can finish. If we can push up and if we can repeat the first 10 games in the last 10 games, we've got a shout. Yeah, we've got a shout. Don't count us out, because we're the dark horses here. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to ask you for maybe an early prediction. What do you think the outcome of the season holds for Tottenham?
I've had the premonition, right? Because I think I've got ESP, because I said we're going to get Manchester City in the cup, and we got them, right? I said it to my husband. I put it all over.
So we go out with them and you.
I put it all over WhatsApp, so people thought, you know, that Ellie's predicting we're going to get Man City, and we got them, right? So I predicted that we're going to win the league as well, right? So I'm not going to shift from that. I don't care if people call me deluded. I don't care if they think I'm stupid, right? I've seen it. I've seen us lifting Postecoglou, giving him the bumps in a dream. So I'm sticking to that, because when we get all our players back, it's not just that; it's the team spirit will lift, right? And I'm saying we've got a very, very good chance of doing it. We repeat what we did, because those last 10 games is where you win the league. Yeah, you saw it with Arsenal; they buckled and bottled it, right? And they lost it in those last 10 games. They were leading all the way. You know, even the last 5 games, they were still in it, but they dropped off too much to catch up. Yeah, let's see what happens. Manchester City, they're the favourites, though, aren't they? They really are. Yeah. Now they've got VDV with his long locks back.
He looks like Sherman out of American Pie now.
Yeah,
you ever seen American Pie? Yeah, Sherman.
Yeah, I think he needs a trip to the barbers, doesn't he?
I think it's long overdue. I'm not sure what he's trying to do there. It's a bad day when Gary Neville has a better bar than you. You know you're not doing well there, Ellie. Ellie, just last question I have.
Do you know when these guys, they hibernate and they come out looking like a Yeti?
Yeah.
Like a Yeti.
It's a bit like me, Ellie. I'm a bit like that. You know, I hibernate and come out, you know, all overgrown and everything else. But Ellie,
but then you'll have your short back and sides, and you'll trim your beard all lovely, and then you come out looking like a new man.
I'm telling you, and it also makes me look like I've lost 2 stone when I get it all done as well, which is also a plus, makes me feel a little bit better. But Ellie, last question I have for you, my dear, and it's great to have you back on and having a chat with you. It's been long overdue. What's the Cognish decision to not send the players on warm weather training and to give them time off instead? Do you think it's a wise decision?
Yeah, I do, because they can bond with their family. They can go and do nice things with their family, chill out, like, you know, do normal things that they don't normally get to do, because a professional footballer's life is quite hectic. They're training and their bodies, they've got to keep them fit, you know, and now they can chill out and just watch some football, play some golf, you know, and they'll be relaxed for that Man City game, coming up, because that's going to be a tough game. If I'm saying we're going to knock them out because they haven't scored at our stadium. I just feel they deserve it as well. They deserve to spend time with their family because they have to make a lot of sacrifices, footballers, and their families really do come second, really. So it's nice to put them first for a change. Play with their kids, play with the dogs, the cats, whatever they've got. Yeah, so I think it's a good thing. Now, Arsenal, they've gone off to Dubai, haven't they? Living it up.
Salt Bay.
And they're going to get
Making you
relaxed.
jealous, Ellie, with the Salt Bay.
Yeah. They'll be in all the aircon 7-star hotels, not outside because it's baking hot.
Yeah. No, look, do you know what? I'm Postecoglou's decision, Ellie. I think it's smart. I think, you know, the players, they really appreciate when a manager takes that sort of aspect of life into things. And I think they'll come back, run harder, play harder and stuff like that. I think it's actually a masterstroke. But Ellie, who are we plugging for you today? Where are you now? It's just a girl who loves Spurs?
Yeah, Just a Girl Loves Spurs with Kate. We've got the I'm normally on with her on Tuesdays and Fridays, but this week it's just the Friday. And then on Tuesdays, we have Today is to Debate, in the evening at 8:00. And then today I was on with Ash Paddy, the Indian girl. She's lovely.
Yes,
I was on Talk and Ball in the morning with her. And I love being on Talk and Ball as well. It's a really good channel. They're lovely. Jose, Eltel Cockerell and Colin, they're lovely with Ash. They've joined forces. So, yeah, she got 4.7 thousand views, Ash, on one of her shows. It's fantastic, you know.
Wow.
She does it in Hindi and English. So big up to Ash because I love her. She's lovely. And everybody in the community, get behind Spurs, get behind Johnson as well, because he's having a tough time and he's feeling the pressure. You can see it, the boy. You know, he's got to relax a little bit and get his stride in because he's got talent, the boy. He's just a bit tentative when it comes to that final ball. But he's laid on a couple of good balls, you know. It was just yesterday he looked a bit nervous. I don't know whether he was carrying the illness. I don't know, but he played like he was ill because he didn't put in a good shift, really.
He's becoming very frustrating for me, Johnson. Very frustrating.
Yeah.
But look,
do you know what he needs? He needs to come to my house so I can fatten him up.
Yeah, give him one of them steaks he orders. They're a good roast dinner.
Just bump him off the ball easy, you know.
By the way, just quickly before we let you go, I'll well him over for the North London Derby. We need to go for our curry. It's been long overdue.
I know,
we've had 5 guys. We've had Savlaki, but we haven't had a curry yet.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, Dave. Don't worry. That Carrie House is going to see us. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Come on.
Love it. Well, Ellie, I have to say
Dave.
it's great to see you again. I have to say you really do put a smile on my face. You're one of my longest friends from YouTube as well. So thank you very much.
I love you too, Dave. I love you too. Where's Jack today?
It's a national holiday in America, so
right.
he's out spending time with one of his friends, you know, which he's well entitled to do, I suppose. We'll let him off today, Ellie. But Ellie, big yourself up, my dear. Great to have you back.
I thought,
good
he might have gone to Dubai to tell the Arsenal players they're bottlers.
He's gone out there to do a podoggy lasagna for them.
Yeah. Well done, Jack. Anyway, have a lovely rest of the show and come on, you Spurs. We're gonna win the league. Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.
Boy, Pierre. That one's for me.
Pierre, Zindy Salzburg. Love that, Ellie. Absolutely love that. See you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, darling.
Absolutely love that enthusiasm from Ellie. Absolutely love it. One of the most passionate Spurs fans you will ever meet. Absolutely brilliant from Ellie. Just a couple of comments now to keep this show on the road. We've got Chris, says Gary Neville. Romero's captain. That's right. He's disgraceful. You know, I wonder what you had to say about the Johnny Evans elbow, Chris. I've no doubt. Were you listening to Sky? If you were, let me know. Spurs 89 says Gary Neville can do on his rubbish club. Those guys are living in the past. Yeah, look, when it comes to Man United, they are anyway. For sure. Derek Hutchison, Gary Neville is a clueless prat. Look, I actually like Gary Neville, to be honest with you, as a player. I think he's got some valuable things to say or valid things to say. But, yeah, he could be, you know, right? I get that. Ugly Fish, are you sure that wasn't an FA Cup somewhere in that dream? Maybe it was, and if it was, we'll take that Ugly Fish. Chris says it's mathematically possible to go for top spots, so why not? Look, Chris, you know what sort of fan I am. I always like to dream big, brother. You know, and I wish many others would as well. Spurs 89 says we are going to go on a massive run when players come back in. I'm feeling it, and I think some team is about to get slapped up by us as well. Spurs 89. Steve Wilson, I hate Man United and Arsenal equally. No, I hate Arsenal a lot more than the Man United, I have to say. Mark Campbell, good to see you next season. It's a bit too late, too many injuries, no depth in our squad. And then also we have Luke Mayo, Big Ange, walks the walk, talks the talk. Family is big with him. Let them decompress and come back fresh. Want that other warm weather training or travel. I think you're absolutely spot on when it comes to that, Lukey. Absolutely spot on, my man. I don't think they would. You know, I think time off right now is exactly what they need. And also big up Rohan Kumar as well. Agree, Ali Palina would be great, but with Bentico, Madison, Sarah Basuma already, I think we need top class wingers and play Sonny on top. Look, if we're going to play Sonny on top, we need a lot more creative wingers. That's the only way that's going to work. If not, Sonny has to stay out left for the time being with Richie down the middle. But big up Rohan Kumar, good to see you, sir. But look, let's keep this show on the road. Who have we got next? Let me check my order in the private chat. Where am I? Okay, so according to my order, I've got Michael, KPV, and then I have Rufus Roughcut. So let's bring on Michael. Let's hear what he has to say. And then we've got KPV, and then Rufus, and then we will call it an evening. Big up, Michael. How are you keeping so long time no speak?
I can speak, David. Yeah, you know, just been at my family's home. You know, my grandma had her, her birthday, and my mom had her. I don't know if you celebrate those, but like a name day. I don't know how those.
I've heard about that. Do you know what, Michael? I've heard about that. I used to work with a lot of sort of Polish women in a hotel and that, and they used to say to me about name day. It's big, right? With you guys, right? It's like a birthday.
Yeah, depending on the region, some people celebrate those more than their actual birthdays. So, like, you know, in certain calendar, you know, certain name, it's the day of the people with that certain name, and we celebrate those, right? So it was my mother's, and yeah, so we went to my family home. My girlfriend had a great time. A lot of good stuff to eat. A lot of, like, you know, time for ourselves to be lazy. So yeah. I'm, you know, well fed, well rested. Yeah.
You'd swear we're winning games. Things are going well, Michael. You're feasting like a champ, which I absolutely love to hear. But look, Michael, how do you come out feeling out of yesterday's game? You know, I think Donovan Oosterreich it was earlier on said if your ambition is top four, it's 1 point gained. If your ambition is to try and out the title challenge, it's 2 points dropped. Where are you at?
Was honestly, I don't know if we spoke before the game, but I was actually like kind of shitting bricks before this game because as bad as United are, I think we are the perfect match for them. I think with how shit they are, with how clueless they are on the pitch, their one and only good thing that they can do is Bruno Fernandes twatting long balls to Rashford or Garnacho, exploiting the space. And that's exactly how we play. We give a lot of space to the opposition wingers because of how far our fullbacks play, right? So I was kind of in that mood that I think that we will, you know, dominate the ball and, you know, dominate possession, create chances, but, you know, they will just play low block, spam passes to Bruno Fernandes, and he will just spam long balls towards the forward line. And that's basically what happened, right? And we conceded 2 goals out of it. And I was just afraid that, you know, I was honestly afraid that our front line will struggle to score. And let's be honest about it, we were really dangerous on corners. Yeah, we were really dangerous on corners, right? But from like open play, it had to be our midfielder who actually scored the goal, not the forward line, right? So I guess my worries kind of were justified. But listen, like, I seriously, before we talk about our team, I have to like cook the shit out of United. They are so bad, David. It's honestly like surprising for me. You know, the funniest part for me is because like as you know, I like follow English football for 4-5 years now, right? I never experienced Man United being good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I hope some people understand my perspective. I've always had, listen, I knew who United are. I knew how great of a coach Sir Alex Ferguson is, even before I started watching football, right? For serious, I know what they achieved, right? But as soon as I started watching football regularly, they are trash. So you know, it's honestly like, for some of the United fans who try to justify it as a 1-point gain for them, little old Spurs came to your gaff and had 60-something% possession, 20-something shots on your goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were better in every single aspect of the game, and the only thing you had going for you was, as I said, Bruno Fernandes twatting balls to your forward line, right? That's it. That's how bad they are currently, right? And I'm not ashamed to say it, because, as I said, I never experienced United being good, and that's how they are for me, right? Just a team that basically relies on individual brilliance from average players. So you know, it's even more of an oxymoron, right? Where they have to like, everything has to land perfectly, but the players are quite average, so it just doesn't land perfectly often, right? It's honestly like surprising how unimpressed I am by them and by how they play, right?
Trust me, Michael. If you've seen them before, you know, the last few years, you understand why many United fans are up in arms for sure. You know, they were at an unbelievable level. They were the trendsetters when I was growing up. But Michael, I want to ask you. You know, you did allude to the game plan of Bruno Fernandes just sort of twatting balls out there to Marcus Rashford, and look, it worked to great effect, right? We miss Sarr in that regard. I think every fan sort of realised that within the first 20 minutes to cover that he gives us down that side. But who do you blame for not getting back to help him out? Do you blame Johnson? Do you blame one of the midfielders? Because, you know, at some point, someone on that pitch, you know, or Porro or someone has to scream at somebody and say, look, you need to get out there and help him, communicate with him. And it didn't happen until after half time. Obviously, they waited until Ange Postecoglou gave them the directive. But who do you blame for not really giving them that cover?
So the way I see it, right, is often when we defend those like long balls spammed to the wingers, right? The way I see it, it's usually fullback arrives there first, right? Porro or Udoji, depending on whichever side it is, right? Fullback arrives there first and stops the winger running through, right? Not necessarily by taking ball of them, but just running, you know, near them, stopping them from advancing, right? And then it has to be a midfielder or a winger who tracks back with the fullback and doubles up on the winger, takes the ball off them, and that's how we defend those long balls, right? And for me, like, when Kulu plays there on the right wing, he provides so much cover with his work rate for Porro. He actually unleashes Porro even more, and I think you have such a brilliant player there in Porro that I am willing to risk those balls being spammed there if we provide him with enough, like, you know, stability and cover, right? And for me, neither Johnson nor any of the midfielders allowed us to perform that to a great standard, right? Honestly, if you actually look at it, I think it was Bentancur's job to track back, right? Because when you look at it, like, Bentancur played Sarr's role, right? So I get Sarr is usually the one helping out, or it's the winger. But with Bentancur, I kind of want to give him a bit of slack, because even though he wasn't like strictly playing the number 10 role, I still think he was the most like involved in the build-up play. Because like, actually it was really interesting, because when United had the ball, when we were pressing, it was Skippy playing the 10 role and running around with Richarlison in the middle of the pitch, right? But when we were building up, Skip was a bit further back, and Bentancur was the one playing the, you know, the advanced role, right? So as soon as the ball got turned over, it was actually the kind of Skippy's job to track back. But I would put majority of the blame on Johnson, and I honestly want to cook Johnson for that game. And listen, I understand that when a young, like British, Wales is part of Great Britain, right? Yeah, Wales is part of Great Britain, right? I'm not saying some blasphemy by calling him British, right? Davo, you are muted, Davo.
Sorry. Yeah, no, you're not at all. You know, he's Welsh, but you know he qualifies as homegrown in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. So when a young guy comes to our club, I understand that many people want to believe that they will be the next Bale, the next Kane, the next someone, right? I'm gonna be honest, and I'm going to be brutally honest, and don't take this personally, anyone who praised Johnson today, but I don't see anything in this guy. And you can watch my August fan shows that I did with you guys. I said that I'm not impressed by the signing, and I think he will struggle in this system. And honestly, comparing him to Bale, that's madness for me. I know they are both Welsh and they both play wing, right? But that's basically where the similarities end for me. And listen, again, when I criticize player, it's pretty much never personal, right? I don't have anything like against the guy, right? The only players that I really didn't like personally were Dyer and Ndombele. Like I can cook those guys because I actually didn't like their character. Right? But with Johnson, it's not about the guy, it's about how he plays, right? I see him struggling with the link-up play. I see him struggling with shooting. He doesn't track back. He gets tired quickly. Like, I just don't see it, guys. I think if he's a squad player, I'm okay with it, but that's pretty fucking expensive for a squad player. We slapped 50 million on that, right? So I'm sorry, but when we paid 50 million for a player, my expectations are not going to be so low, right? And I understand that maybe he will develop into a good player, right? But for a 50 million pound player, which probably means that we won't be investing much into that right wing spot, right? Because we have Kulusevski and Johnson there. So for a 50 million pound player, I will be expecting more, and I'm not willing to give him 1.5 years to develop. Meanwhile, we are completely dead on the right side if Kulusevski is not playing there, right? I hope I'm getting my point through, right?
No, I get it.
Kulusevski. Go on there.
No, I was just going to say just quickly, when it comes to Brennan Johnson, I really do feel the frustration. You know, for me, it's every week now. You know, he gets into great positions. When you just want that final end product, he doesn't deliver. It's really becoming frustrating. And you know, if it's frustrating for us fans, you can imagine how you would be feeling if you're the left winger, if you're the striker in that team, right? You're looking at him just provide some service, and he's not. And look, for me, I just think he needs to get to grips with it very, very quickly. You know, I hear a lot of give him time, which I can understand to a certain degree, right? You've sunk 50 million, he's Postecoglou's guy. He ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So if people think he's going to be out here in the summer, forget about it. He's going to be here for another season, 2 seasons after this. But I also think, you know, there's a lot of protection around the guy. I also think it's okay to demand a lot more from him in that regard. You know, you should be demanding a lot more. And at the end of the day, we've got one of the best wingers ever, you know, providing us with one of the greatest service ever of any football club, which is Son Heung-min. And that's the standard, ideally, he needs to get to. That's the standard we expect of our wingers, of wingers that we've seen in years gone by, Bale, Lennon, people like that. And unfortunately, he has to get to that level, you know, and look, he's a long way off it now, and I just think it's at the point now where he needs to man up. I think he's come here expecting he's going to get a run of games, a lot of time to settle in, like it's been in years previous with Tottenham. But we're not at that stage anymore. We've moved on a little bit, you know. We've got ambitions now, and we're pushing towards trying to win a Premier League, trying to win a trophy, get that hoodoo off our back. And at the end of the day, he either has to get with the party and the programme, or else it doesn't. It's up to him. He's got his move to a big club that he's worked hard for all his career. How does he want it to pan out?
Yeah, so again, I don't want this to be like a Brennan Johnson hate session or anything.
No, I know.
Yeah, but for me, right. Also, one point I want to make, right? Because people say he's young. He's 22. He's not young. He's not 18, right? Kulusevski's 1 year older than him, right? because I just checked. Kulusevski was born on year 2000 and he was born on 2001, right? So it's like Kulusevski for me, even though he's not also not like a finished article, and also there are some issues with Kulusevski there. I think he works a lot more. He actually has it, like when he shoots, I know his shooting is not the best, but at least there is some venom to the shots. Like, you know, he actually like puts his foot through it. Whereas Brennan Johnson, I think he likes those like well placed, you know, side of the foot shots instead of sometimes just slapping it, right?
Yeah.
His low crosses are good, but his like high crosses are leave a lot to be desired, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't mind him as a squad player. I don't mind him as an impact sub. But for me, Kulusevski should be the starting right winger, or we move Kulusevski to the middle and bring in a starting right winger, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. But that's attacking wise. But like along with that answer to your question, I think majority of the the right winger's duty in our system is to also provide cover for the right back when he inverts, right? So I think he should be working more. Yeah, that's basically my answer.
Do you know what on that, Michael? I just want to take a point from Steve Wilson, and I've seen a lot of this around. I actually think this could be a future Postecoglou plan for next season. I think you might see a Dragic or a Romero eventually moved out the right back. This has been loaned out this season to get the experience to come back in here next season to be, a backup behind that centre-back options. Porro could very well end up moving to right wing, take all defensive responsibilities off him, a bit like what we've done to Gareth Bale in the past, and let him free, let him go and affect the game because he has that ability. Do you think that could be an option further on? And this is the great thing about a lot of signings in the squad we've got right now. It gives you options, flexibility.
I think it's a great option to have, in my opinion. Like, you know, sometimes... Of course, not to that extreme, right? But I was watching highlights of one of the Sevilla games, and the Sevilla manager put Ramos as a striker, right? Because he stole it. They were, spamming crosses into the box, and actually he utilized his like great heading ability and his height and strength, etc. Right? So I think, of course, not to that extent, but I think Pedro Porro has a lot of qualities of a like a really good right winger. So I think in certain situations we can utilize it. I wouldn't like have him starting there, game in, game out, like 90 minutes as a right winger. I think it's a nice option, as you mentioned, to have. For example, when imagine just Kulusevski is injured or Kulusevski is not like fully fit or something, right? That Kulu plays 60 minutes. And then we take Kulu off for a Royal or a Dragusin and move Porro forwards, because Porro has like some immense stamina. The guy just keeps running, right? I kid you not, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite players, right? We often laugh about, all the chest bumping and kissing the badge and, giving this to the fans. But I actually, when I look at the guy, I feel that he truly cares, that he actually like wants to perform for us. And like, I am absolutely like so privileged to watch this guy, right, for our team. So yeah, I think he's like an extremely flexible player. Honestly, if you slapped him into the middle three for 30 minutes, I think he would have done like a great job as an 8 or as a 10. He has so much quality when it comes to picking passes, spamming crosses, like picking at the right cross. His corners yesterday were absolutely amazing. Pinpoint crosses every single time. I'm honestly like so sad that we only scored one cross, because we are winning those headers constantly against United, right? So yeah, I am just happy that we have this guy at our disposal. And not that's Porro, right? Udogie, I kid you not, he dog walked Garnacho yesterday. Like, he absolutely like put him in his pocket, right? Listen, I heard rumors that Garnacho came home and he was scared to go asleep because he was afraid that Udogie is in his wardrobe. Like, to that level, right? Like, Udogie always was there. He was winning every single duel against Garnacho. I was absolutely in love with both of those guys, right?
We've got the best fullbacks in the league, but without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm absolutely pumped with the options we've got. It's a far cry from Sessegnon and Ori or Doherty, or what I mean. It's a far cry from that. We've come a very, very long way. But Michael, great chatting to you, my man. Really appreciate your time as always. Hopefully your mother's had a great day. Hopefully you and the missus have had a great day as well. And yeah, look, I'll be in touch, my man. We'll have to get you on for a panel show and have a lot longer discussion about all things Tottenham.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'll be in contact this week if you're around, and we'll sort
something
out.
Yeah. I'm around, so contact me whenever and we'll sort something out, right? But also, I quickly have to say one thing. If Everton and Forest are done for, financial fair play and they have to sell players, Morgan Gibbs-White and Jarrad Branthwaite, 2 targets that we should be looking for. I know we will have shitloads of competition, but apparently we are one of the cleanest clubs and we can spend some money. So if Morgan Gibbs-White and Jarrad Branthwaite are available, go for them. They are absolutely, both of them are amazing young players with a lot of potential. When I look at Morgan Gibbs-White, I see the talent. He's still raw as fuck. He makes mistakes, but I see there is something there, right? And same thing with Jarrad.
He's waiting to play with better players around him. You can see that in him. He's got all the right attributes. Better players around him that are more on his level. He'll come very good, I think. Yeah. Braithwaite's not a bad option as well, if you were looking. Personally, with the ages at now, Dragusin, Romero, Van de Ven, then you've got the 3 youngsters as well, Voskovic, Dorrington, and Donnelly, or not Donnelly, Phillips. Will they sanction a Braithwaite? I'm not quite so sure, but look, it's an interesting option, my man. I'd take him. I wouldn't moan if we got him. Anyway, that's for sure. But Michael, big yourself up, my man. Great chatting to you, and I'll give you a text tomorrow. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for all the love in the chat. By the way, I've seen those messages. I love you guys.
Look, they absolutely love your inputs, Michael. So keep coming back, brother.
Yeah. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good evening.
You too.
Great discussion with Michael, guys. Absolutely love listening to him. He's fascinating. With the detail he goes into, his analytics of the likes of people's games and stuff like that. But I also love, the fact that it sort of tells you how upset he is, but also plots a path forward, which I absolutely love. If you're gonna call someone out, at least plot a path forward for them. And fair play, Michael. He's absolutely brilliant guest. And hope you guys enjoy them. Now we're down to our last 2 guests of the evening, and these will be the last 2, and then we'll be ending off. We've been going for 3 hours now, which is absolutely insane. I love talking to you guys, so pick yourselves up, and thank you for making yourself available this evening. But let's get on the next guest, and it is the one and the only KPV. How you getting on, sir?
Good, man. I'm good. Just still buzzing from the result, but how was Evans not done off? I don't know. Every time we played them, they always seem to do bad tackles. McTominay should have been off. Don't know how he wasn't. They should have been down to 9. But the referee clearly doesn't like us, and don't know why he didn't give out the red card. Evans did mean it, and it should have gone. Don't know what's going on. But Romero captain, brilliant. He's vice. Big Ange gave him and Maddison a vice captain before the Brentford game at the start of the season, and good decision. And Bentancur captain at home to Burnley FA Cup, brilliant, and first time captaining the team, absolutely loved it. So come
here, KPV. I want you to clear up this comment from earlier. He said everybody stop disrespecting on Skip. He would come good. He's Tottenham true and true. What do you see in Skip that maybe all of us are missing then, my man?
He just needs maybe to work on his passing a bit. Maybe keep giving the ball away. But he's 9 mark. See you soon, mate. Just needs time to maybe work on the passing a little bit. People keep saying he's not good enough. Well, people clearly haven't watched him then, because he was part of our team that went to Amsterdam in a second leg. Lucas scored a 3rd goal, and Skip actually jumped onto the pitch when he scored. He was jumping next to Poch. So clearly they haven't watched him. But scored his goal against Chelsea last season, a thunderbolt. First goal for Spurs, and yeah, so he will come
Does
good.
he produce it enough though, KPV? Because look, I get what you're saying, right? He's a Tottenham guy. He clearly loves the club. He's got great passion for the club. He's come through the academy, and we all want these players to succeed. But we also have to be honest with ourselves. Like, we can't keep carrying these players on the books if they're not good enough. What do you think Skip can get to the level of a Bentacore, of a Basuma, people like that, who's basically fighting for where, positionally wise?
I think he can. Yeah, I think he can get to that level of those players you mentioned. He just maybe needs to, as I said, work on a bit of passing, and he will come good. Like, he got Norwich promoted when we loaned him out, and that was the season we had Mourinho in the 2021 season, and he went to Norwich, forced it out there, got him promoted, got him back to the Prem, and came back, got that injury, and he played in I believe Liverpool and Arsenal games in under Conte. I think he must have came back from that injury and pocketed Salah and Saka. So Juan Session pocketed Salah 2 times and pocketed Saka. So, and yeah, those were the games Conte managed. Liverpool twice. We should have beaten them home and away, but we've beaten Liverpool this season. We're the only team that's actually beaten them. So Anfield, we go there in March, and Big Ange, he's already unbeaten against Eric Ten Hag, who we've already beaten 2 times, and only lost twice and 2 draws. So we have his number, and Big Ange is going to go to Anfield like it's in March. So Son should be back in February, or if South Korea go through, then he'll still probably be away. But he always scores against Liverpool. But Richarlison loves a goal against Liverpool at Anfield. That was for Everton and Tottenham. And so he always scores there. So Richarlison knows how to score past Alisson. Scored there, 3 times when Liverpool won the league, and then they lost 6 home games under Klopp, and then last season he scored. Like, how was Jota not sent off? He was likely to still be on the pitch. All of a skip got kicked in the head. Jota should have been off. Like, if he'd gone off, then we would have won that game. But fortunately, we didn't because of Lucas giving the ball away, and we lost. But yeah, we know how to beat Liverpool. But
just quickly, KV, what do you make of Van der Ven and Romero coming back? How good was it to see them back in Spurs kits?
Brilliant last night, and brilliant. And I'm happy for them because this is the first time they've started since that Chelsea game. When I don't know how Romero got sent off. Like, Romero was given a yellow, then he got given a red, straight red. So he missed 3 games, but it was good to see him back. Van der Ven said he only came off because he had a cramp, but he's okay. So we play Brentford after the City game, and we've got Everton as well away. So Maddison should be available for the Brentford game at home. So they've got Tony available, but Mbremo's out. So Brentford at home. We need to get a bench.
Just on Brentford, KPV. Potential Sergio Reguilon's on his way to Brentford on loan. I think it's a good loan move for him. Can he keep them up? They're fighting relegation.
Not really, because we wanted Webb. I'm glad we got Vicario. They kept us waiting longer. So Ben is back on We Are Tottenham TV after he was away for a few weeks. But he said we need to do everything we can to make sure he doesn't go there, because when you send a player on loan, they can't play against us. So he won't be able to play that game if we loan him out. But maybe it is a good one, because Ericsson was at Brentford and he got reception. And when he took corners, we gave him a reception. That's what happened at the Euros. We gave him a nice reception. We sang his name. But Reguilon, Brentford, I know we can't play if we loan him there, but maybe, and I don't know where, maybe should go back to Real Madrid, because I know he won the Europa League with Seville in 2020, and he was actually at Real Madrid, won a Champions League as well. So he's a European champion. So maybe I'd say Real Madrid should go back to, because he won the Champions League a few times. So maybe I'll go back to Madrid, mate. Because if you're from Madrid, then just go there, mate. Because you can play with Bellingham and Vinny Jr. So, but not sure about Brentford. Maybe it is a good move, but we'll see. But yeah, we've got.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah,
Look, I think it'd be a good moment anyway to be able to maybe. Hopefully he
Yeah.
plays well. He's had his own move at United as well. I know United, some United fans wanted to keep him, just sort of keep his cash resale value up, so that'll come the summer. Then maybe we can look to liquidate him and boost our transfer coffers. But last but not least, KPV, what do you make of Richarlison's return to form of late? You all for it?
Yeah,
I'm going to keep it going.
He's been outstanding, and look away, Arsenal fans. He's got more goals than Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus, and he's got assists as well. 7 goals and 3 assists. So look away, Arsenal. We're coming for you, mate. We're coming for you. Arteta, because
He's out there trying to just out there eating, having a good time, partying.
He's out there, but they're coming to our ground in April. So revenge after what happened they did to us last season when Ramsdale celebrated in front of our fans and Richarlison stopped him. So Ramsdale's not on goal this time because Arteta clearly doesn't rate him. He only rates Raya, which I don't know why, but I said to a few of my mates, Vicario's better than David Raya. That's a stat, and that's the fact. Vicario's better. So we're going to keep a clean sheet at home to Brentford, and we're definitely going to do it because Mbeumo's out, but they've got Wissa and Tony. So Wissa, I think he's away on international duty. So if he's still playing, then who knows? But we're going to beat Brentford and revenge. So, and then bring on the next couple of games. And well done, Gary. You finally said we could finish above Liverpool and Arsenal when them players come back.
Come on.
Yeah, we could finish above Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't know what a Liverpool fan was moaning about, but moan all you want. You lost to us in September, and you're still moaning about the game. Moan all you want. We still want to replay the Champions League final, and Vertonghen's in for it. So, yeah, count me in. We want that rematch. So give it to us. We'll replay, and we'll easily win. So I'm out, people. I'm off to watch Monday Night War tonight. And
enjoy.
Then I'll see you all for the Man City game, and I'm going to try and get a ticket. So we're at home. We always battered them. They've never scored there or won there. But yeah, the Storm's not playing. But Kulu and Lassalto always score, but Lassalto's out, and Kulu should be back. So Richarlison as well is definitely scoring. He's never beaten City, but he did with us, not with Everton. He's never. But let's go, boys. Have the faith. The double's still on. We're winning the double, and Arsenal fans come on because they ain't winning it because they're crap. North London is white. So Ash Neville is always spot on. North London is ours, and let's do this, boys. Have faith.
Come on, you
never
Spurs.
stop. Come on, you Spurs. In Andrew
Big up, KPV. You enjoy Monday Night Raw, my man. I'm going to speak again very soon, all right?
See you, mate. Bye.
See you soon, my man. Have a good evening.
Have a good
one.
one.
Guys, that's KPV, absolute legend. So what a guy. I love his enthusiasm and his passion for the club as well. Rufus Roughcut, he's left. I presume he's probably busy, but Rufus, make sure you come back and speak to me another day. If that is the case, big yourself up. Also, big up to Juan as well. Good to see you in the building. It's a long time since I've seen that name, my man. So welcome back. And how's life? Hopefully it's keeping well. And also, Slips 128. Big up to you, KP. Big yourself up. Slips. Now, guys, that is it for the season. That's 3 streams today. If you haven't, check out the update that I've done on all Tottenham's players that I've loaned out. Ashley Phillips, Josh Keeley, Alfie Devine, Matthew Craig. And stuff like that. I put some good effort into it, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Check that out. Also, Jacob at United Spurs for America. I'll get his team there now. He is live. If you want to head on over to Jacob, give me 1 second. So, guys, the link for Jacob's channel is here, who is live. If you want to get on over, if you want more content, just get on over to Jacob and say, sent by Irish. But, guys, that's it. Three and a bit hours of a fan show. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. Look, I know not everybody can sit here for 3.5 hours on a Monday and listen in. So I do appreciate anyone that pops in and out. It really does mean a lot. If you have any ideas how to make these fan shows better, you know, more entertaining for you guys or whatever, you know, to reduce the time so that more and more people can watch it and stuff like that, let me know. Because one thing we won't be doing is getting rid of it. Because I love speaking to the fans out there. But let me know how we can improve it. That would be absolutely brilliant. Guys, that's it for me. I'll be back here with more content. Tomorrow I'll be putting out another 21 and an Academy sort of update. It's going to be a regular feature on a Tuesday morning of the channel. We'll go back over the weekend, over the week, the news and all that sort of stuff, what's going on at the Academy. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That'll be out at 10:30 tomorrow. And then there's more coming your way. I'll be doing a transfer update live at 3 p.m. as well, if anyone's interested in that. But guys, that's it from me. I'll see you all tomorrow. Big yourselves up. Rain Man, love it. Dave, have a good one. My man, same to you, brother. Big yourself up. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you have a good one. And Hexy, I'm glad you got over the line in that exam. I have no doubt you've absolutely smashed it and passed it, my man. Big yourself up. Guys, that's it from me. Please get on over to Jacob over at United Spurs of America. Show him some love. As always, come on, Spurs. In the mighty hand, we trust. We never stop. Let's go.